presentation of the World Baseball Classic. For 4 teams, Venezuela, Korea, Japan, and USA, their classic quest comes down to a need for 2 more wins to claim the championship. All is on the line. There will be emotion. It will be like a Hollywood script, and set here at Dodger Stadium. A matchup of contrasting styles. Venezuela swings like the best of their salsa dancers, free, easy, and powerful. This team can not only dance, this team can hit. The upstarts from South Korea, it's about fundamentals, pitching, working the counts, and moving runners along. It's been their mojo, and successfully so. The tournament has truly become win or go home. Korea, Venezuela, next. The World Baseball Classic continues as you take a look at downtown Los Angeles, west coast of the United States, and not far from downtown, the site of our ball game tonight, Dodger Stadium. We have come to that point where there were 16 to start, and now there are only 4. 2 semifinal games tonight and tomorrow, and on Monday night, the championship game in the World Baseball Classic. We welcome you to Dodger Stadium for this first semifinal game, which will feature South Korea. They are an upstart team, 5-2 in the Classic, and Venezuela, a powerhouse team, so far 6-1. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and wherever you may be around the world, we welcome you. If one thing has been shown again in this World Baseball Classic so far, it is the level of baseball around the world has indeed improved even from the time we saw these teams playing 3 years ago. The execution of the ball clubs, all 16 of them, has been magnificent. And I think for fans in the United States, kind of a surprise that so much of the rest of the world is catching up to the distinguished baseball played in the U.S. So we started with 16. Let's take a look at the brackets and how we ended up where we are. A couple of teams from Pool 1 who were here last year. The defending champion Japan, they are 3-1, and South Korea 2-1. They eliminated Cuba and Mexico. In Pool 2 in Miami, it was Venezuela going undefeated 3-0, and the United States 2-2, eliminating a heavily favored Puerto Rican team and the Cinderella team of this year's World Baseball Classic, the Netherlands. Those are the 4 teams we are left with. They will play one another in the semifinals to get to the championship game on Monday. Rick Sutcliffe joins me here at Dodger Stadium. Rick, another great World Baseball Classic. What do you think?
Well, we know one thing. It's been exciting. I think we all agree that any of these 4 teams could win. We've got 4 teams left. We've got 3 games, but we're only going to have 1 champion.
And one of the teams we're going to see in this ball game, it's all about their bats.
Well, there's no question about that. When you look at the names for Venezuela, you know one thing. They can swing it. Round 1, Pool C champions. They just simply pounded the baseball as a team. 347, 8 homers. You take a look at that slugging percentage. And then it was on to Miami. Look at what Carlos Silva and Felix Hernandez combined to do. Only 1 run allowed. Silva, really, to me, one of the biggest surprises of this tournament. But one of the more exciting things to me that happened coming into play here tonight was what happened yesterday in batting practice with Team Venezuela. Miguel Cabrera hit a ball out of the stadium. I've been coming here since 1976. I have never seen that happen. It actually hit the scoreboard, and when he hit it, he yelled to the Korean dugout. A lot of their players were there. He said in Spanish, "More to come." I believe him.
Well, be careful, because the South Korean team is one that not a lot of people have heard very much about. They have only 1 Major League player on their roster, but fundamentally sound baseball.
Boy, they are really fun to watch. I tell you what, they put on a clinic every night if you were a high school team and wanted to watch that. You just take a look. Pool A champions, they did it with pitching, defense, and timely hitting. Does that sound familiar? It seems like every year that's what the champions say. Then they went on to San Diego. Bumho Lee had a big series there. They were able to send two good teams in Mexico and Cuba home. And since that happened, they have got the distinct honor. They are so thrilled to be here at Dodger Stadium.
Now, one of the discussions we've had throughout the World Baseball Classic, Rick, has been about the pitch count for pitchers. That changes here, as now they can throw up to 100 pitches. And for both of the teams we're going to see tonight, all of their pitches are available except for their last starter, and they're really not worried about that. So starting pitching, as in all of baseball, comes to the fore again.
You're exactly right, and I tell you what an honor for both of these guys to have this opportunity. You got Suk-Min Yoon. He pitched really well in the Olympics, and he's doing it again in the World Baseball Classic. You take a look at Carlos Silva, 4-15. Wow, how in the world did he get this opportunity? Well, I tell you what, he lost 30 pounds over the winter, and he gained his sinking fastball back. He has been terrific in the World Baseball Classic.
We are looking at two ball clubs who come at it from a distinctly different angle. And it'll be another one of the baseball games where you say, can good pitching shut down good hitting? We're about to find out. One of these teams moves on to the final on Monday, and the other has to go home. The World Baseball Classic coming up. And at home plate, the lineup cards are being exchanged. In-Sik Kim, the manager for South Korea, and Luis Sojo, the manager for Venezuela. 6 umpires will be used. We'll talk about that a little later here for the semifinals and finals. You're looking at Dodger Stadium, 1962, when the Brooklyn Dodgers decided to leave Brooklyn and head west. Chavez Ravine is the location of this land mass where they built Dodger Stadium. They've been playing here ever since. A lot of great ball clubs have come through here, Rick, and a great site for the final weekend.
You know, and I loved when we were talking with Team Korea yesterday during the workout, how they talked about the reason this one is so much better is because, you know, Petco's a beautiful park in San Diego, but the history of this place is exactly what you were talking about and what they were thinking of.
Let's take a look at a little tail of the tape for the two teams we're going to see in this first semifinal game. We've talked about how distinctly different they can be. There are the numbers that they have put up in the World Baseball Classic so far. That average, the best of the final 4. Venezuela's got that one with 309. You take a look, though, what Korea's done against their opponents scoring-wise. They put the runs up even though their offensive numbers aren't particularly that big.
You know what, and I give their manager a lot of credit because he goes, this game's going to be played a lot different than it was in the first round in the Tokyo Dome because this ballpark is a lot bigger. They have got the speed to play that little game if needed.
So we'll see whether or not that power of Venezuela on the right side can be matched by the pitching of South Korea on the left side. Dodger Stadium, of course, it's all about Dodger blue. So think blue is the big sign out on the hill that is part of this property at Chavez Ravine where Dodger Stadium sits. Both of these teams had a very decent day to get their workouts in. There was a workout day yesterday here for all 4 teams. Then the 2 teams today came out into the normal practice day. About 62 degrees at game time. It's been overcast all day, but we will have those clouds breaking up a little bit here, and it will be a cool night for baseball and really a perfect night to play. Another big difference between these two ball clubs, Rick, is the structure of the teams and where the players come from, because major league players dominate Venezuela and there's only one on the other side.
Yeah, you just take a look about that. I mean, those are household names. You're talking about a major league record with 62 saves. Miguel Cabrera, he's as dangerous as they get in baseball as far as offense is concerned. Maglio drives in 100 runs every single year. And Bobby Abreu now has left the Yankees. He will be a Los Angeles Angel of Anaheim when this season starts after the World Baseball Classic.
So those are some very big names. That's why this team, when it started in the World Baseball Classic, was picked by many to make it this far and maybe even win the whole thing, and they may. The list for South Korea, there isn't one. Sin-Soo Choo, that's it. Cleveland Indians player is the only major league player on the South Korea roster. All of their players play within the home league in South Korea, but as we've said, they've kind of snuck up on some people because the quality of play in South Korea, I think, is a whole lot better than a lot of people expected.
You know, I totally agree with you. I think about the parity in Major League Baseball, how a lot of these teams have come together. The difference between the top and bottom has been a lot different. I think you would agree. There's a big difference this year between 1 and 16 than there was back in '06.
Absolutely. We are ready to go. Venezuela will be the home team with their 6-1 record. The World Baseball Classic logo even on the baseball. It'll be picked up here to be used. So let's take a look at the lineup Carlos Silva is going to face. It is a lineup with some pretty decent averages, especially in the middle, but not at the bottom. Tae-Kyung Kim, their first baseman, is the one you really have to shut down. You look at the home runs, 9 RBIs. He leads the team in all of those categories. 6 runs, 6 walks. He takes some hellacious swings up there at the plate, and he will do damage, especially if base runners are on.
Well, you know what, Gary, to me, I look at those 6 walks and I think about that home run total could have been a lot higher, but he's the one guy that for the most part they don't want to let beat you. But don't forget, having Shin Shu-Chu in that 6th spot makes that lineup deeper, and it also makes it more dangerous. Carlos Silva on the mound. We talked about 4 and 15 a year ago, but boy, things have changed for him. He's lighter, he's thinner. He says he has a lot more energy now. He has pitched really well in his 2 starts, but they were against Italy and the Netherlands, 2 challenged offensive teams that we know about. As they talk about in horse racing, this will be a step up in class.
The defense that we have seen throughout this World Baseball Classic has been outstanding all around. There have been 5 errors committed by the team from Venezuela, but they've hit the long ball so often it hasn't really mattered.
You know, I tell you what, watching what Venezuela did to get here, Ramon Hernandez has done a terrific job. I have very seldom seen one of the Venezuela pitchers shake him off. He has done a good job blocking the plate back there. He, too, has had a lot of energy.
And we are ready to go. About 62 degrees at game time. A gentle breeze blowing out from left to right under partly cloudy skies. It will be an ideal night for this semifinal game. Young Kyu Lee coming up.
Well, as we always talk about, the keys to the ball game for each team. For me, it's with Silva. He's a guy that has to get at least 4 innings. Without that, this game could be lost early for Venezuela. If he can get through 4 good ones with the lead, Gary, there's a possibility Felix Hernandez would come in out of the bullpen.
In at third base is Melvin Moore looking for a bunt early in the ball game. The first pitch is taken inside, and we are underway. Young Kyu Lee at the top of the order, hitting .333, 1 RBI. He's a table setter, and he is a base stealer. They will run if they can get on. They're 8 for 8 in stolen bases as a team, and they love to put people in motion and be aggressive on the base paths.
You know, and I love to watch their batting practice today. I mean, with Venezuela, every other ball was going out of the ballpark. But the thing about Korea, every single ball seemed to be hit on the line.
It's got a purpose. They're purpose hitters. And Silva's pitch will miss inside to Lee. He'll take the walk early on if he can get it. He gets ahead on the count here, 2-1. I love In-Sik King, their manager. He's a guy who manages by the gut. He'll do anything and everything at any given moment of a ball game. A decision solely based on how he feels that what will help the team at the moment. He's changed base runners in the middle accounts. He's changed pitchers in the middle accounts. He's put the steal sign on when you wouldn't expect it. Hit and run with guys you wouldn't expect. He manages from deep down, and boy, it has worked. Here's the 3-1 delivery, and that's on the corner.
Well, you just take a look now. That is Korean baseball right now. I mean, most other teams, you take a look at Enrique Chavez, he's going to swing from his back leg at a 3-1 fastball down the middle. That's not how they play the game.
Young Kyu Lee, the center fielder, has got a 3-ball, 2-strike count. And he draws the walk. Well, we're going to get a look at In-Sik Kim, the manager's philosophy for this game right away.
Well, I tell you what we got to look at there. I think a little bit of a tight rear end from Carlos Silva. That 3-1 pitch had some velocity to it. That last one, it was almost like he kind of choked it down in his hand. It got away from him. And all of a sudden now, like you said, the game could be put in motion.
The base runner, leadoff batter Lee, has 2 of the stolen bases picked up by South Korea in the Classic. And here's Kyung-woo Jung. Now, he's a great bat handler. He also is extremely fast, very tough to double up. He is their second baseman. Melvin Moreno will play in at third base looking for the bunt. Not shown, and a strike taken. I think one of the things that's pretty clear, South Korea has come into this ball game intending to make Silva throw a lot of pitches early in the game.
You know what, too, and along with that, I think if I'm Korea, I want to get an early lead. Instead of trying to do all that, I just put down a bunt.
1 home run, 2 RBIs, hitting .350, swings away, bloops that one down the line in right field, playing fairly shallow. Tag made, throw coming to second base and bobbled. Bobby Abreu dropped the ball. I mean, he was sitting under it because he was shallow and just dropped it.
Surprised, absolutely. But you know what? We know one thing. We know about the pressure that speed puts on a defense. And I think the fact that he took a look at the base runner tagging, and he might have taken a look at the base runner instead of the baseball going into his glove, it falls out. And now a great opportunity for Korea to put some runs on the board.
They still should have had an outrick at second base on that throw, which was there in plenty of time, but couldn't be handled. And there are runners on at first and second base and a walk and an error. Young-Soo Kim. 3 RBIs. Their number 3 hitter who plays in left field. And South Korea gets a chance. Now they may bunt. He will bunt his middle of the lineup if he thinks it will help. Melvin Mora is forced to play even with the bag at third. Takes the big cut and misses for a strike.
You know what? He might want to bunt after looking at that last swing. Completely overpowered with a good fastball from Silva. And you know, too, when Silva missed with a 2-1 pitch to the leadoff there, we saw some emotion from him. And to me, that's a sign of lack of confidence from a starting pitcher.
Silva with 2 on, nobody out, and the fastball is going to miss outside. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Kim. 29-year-old right-hander. He has not given up virtually anything here in this Classic. He's given up 10 hits in 11 innings, walked only 1 coming into the game, and he's walked 1 here in the first inning. Gets the strike call, 1 and 2.
You got to give him a lot of credit with those 2 strikes he's thrown, how they've been at the knees. When you need a ground ball, when you need a double play, that's where the location of the pitch has to be to get it.
Young-Soo Kim with 2 on and nobody out. 1-2 delivery to him. He started to go. They want to check at third. He did not go around. Paul Hynam, the umpire at third from Australia. Luis Sojo's over there got to be wondering, wait a minute.
Well, he wanted this. Take a look at that. I mean, that tells you right now that it's going to be a tight strike zone from Ron Culpa behind home plate tonight.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Runners off first and second. They hold that runner tight at second. That's going to be looped out into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Big jump for Lee. Lee makes the turn, and no play for Ordonez. And a 1-0 lead for South Korea.
Just an outstanding job of swinging the bat. Behind in the count, knowing the strike zone. This ball was a little bit off the plate, but take a look at it once again. It was a changeup. He was fooled. Everything really kind of got away from him except the barrel of the bat. And again, Garrett, just like we saw in batting practice, another line drive.
Young-Soo Kim will pick up his 4th RBI of the Classic, a 1-0 lead. Here's their power hitter. You've got to keep him tight to the plate, because if you let his arms out a little bit, he will drive a baseball a long way. 2 homers, a team leading 9 RBIs. Tae-Kung Kim, who plays at first base. And there are 2 on. Jung down at second. Young-Soo Kim on at first. And an 0-2 count. So Silva in early trouble, some of it his doing with a leadoff walk that has already scored. The other Abreu dropping the ball in right field inexplicably, and then almost compounding it with a bad throw to second base. Another looper to center. Chavez coming. He's not going to get it, and the bases are loaded.
I think Carlos Silva has kind of lost his focus. 0-2 with the count, and he basically just throws it as hard as he can. Take a look. The base runner's fooled a little bit here because of the speed and the reputation of Chavez. But watch Chavez put his glove out like he had a chance to make that play. That's when all of a sudden Jung had to move back. Look at that right there. That's what set it up. He would have scored on that ball had Endy Chavez not put the glove out there to at least have an opportunity to keep the bases loaded.
How about this start? The first 4 hitters for South Korea have reached base against Carlos Silva. The designated hitter Daho Lee coming up. Luis Sojo looking out.
Boy, really surprised with Bobby Abreu. I mean, that's just, you know, he's played on a big stage. He played at Yankee Stadium, but that had to be nerves.
Bases loaded, ground ball knocked down. Silva only plays at first and will get the out. It'll be an RBI. Kyung-Woo Jung scores from third. He's the one who reached on the error. RBI for Daho Lee, and South Korea's got a 2-0 lead. 2 in scoring position and 1 out.
You talk about exact opposites. I mean, wait till you see Korea defensively and how crisp they are and how well they play. That should have been an easy catch. I mean, that ball is right back to Silva. I mean, it's almost like the catcher throwing it back to you. The bat was broken. It's a play that he could have made, but when he dropped it, it cost him another run.
Now the only major league representative on the South Korean team. Shin-Chu Lee will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Chu will be playing in right field in this ball game. There are 2 in scoring position and only 1 away, so this is a big at bat. He has not had much success, hitting only 100 so far in the Classic. Takes that one to center field, got all of it. Chavez going back, warning track wall. Goodbye, home run! Shin-Soo Choo, a 3 RBI homer.
Wow. Our key was to get him through 4 innings.
How about 1?
Carlos Silva might not get 4 outs. Shin-Chu Choo. You know, we have seen it. You can see now why the Cleveland Indians wanted him. We really didn't know if he was going to be in the lineup or not tonight until the last-minute decision.
A 5-0 lead.
Take a look at this to dead center. Dodger Stadium, historically known as a pitcher's ballpark.
Chu had 14 home runs last year. Rick, he floated that one right over the middle.
Well, you could see, yeah, Silva was trying to come in. Again, he had lost his focus and was just firing rather than trying to locate.
Jung Chu up, and the pitch is taken by Choi, the third baseman, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Silva has not retired a batter in the first inning. 5 runs have scored, as 1 out rather. 5 runs have scored, 6 have come to the plate, and a ground ball down to third, Melvin Moreno. And Jung Choi is retired for the second out. The 8th batter is about to come up for South Korea in the inning. Enrique Gonzalez loosening up.
Well, we talked about the difference. Silva has pitched well, but Italy overmatched offensively. The Netherlands even worse. I mean, they were all about pitching and defense. This is really the first offensive team that Silva has faced, and he struggled.
Now there are 2 down with the bases empty. Kyungwon Park hitting just .59 here in the Classic. He is their second baseman, solid glove player. And will take the pitch away. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Silva had those 4 scoreless innings in his start against Italy. 6 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts in a 7-0 Venezuela win. Foul tip that'll end up in the mitt. He worked against the Netherlands. Longest start, 7 innings in the outing. Allowed a run on 4 hits against the Netherlands.
Well, Italy had 6 hits. They had opportunities, men on base, but they just couldn't cash in.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery, and that will miss just a bit outside.
Well,
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's frustrated at everything. His right fielder, the strike zone of the home plate umpire, and I'm sure himself.
A long inning for him, and not done yet as he takes the count full. 3-2. You do not want to be going 3-2 on a batter hitting .059.
Well, particularly with the number 9 guy in the on deck circle. That's the guy you want to lead off the next inning. It makes it so much easier.
3-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be a base hit up the middle.
That's got to be it. I mean, he was talking to me yesterday about what he learned playing with Johan Santana, about Silva saying, forget the score. Give your team an opportunity to win. Silva was telling me that Johan Santana, he's the same guy. You can't tell whether he's won or lost. Well, Silva was not the same guy. After the ball was dropped and the base hit cost him a run, he's just out there firing now rather than pitching.
We talk about players, Rick. You have to pick up your teammates sometimes. Sometimes it's the offense that has to pick up a pitcher. Sometimes it's the pitcher who's got to pick up a guy behind him when there's an error.
You know, I agree with you. One of my favorite things to do was after a guy made an error was to get the outs and keep that run from scoring and come in and pat him on the back and say, hey, it didn't hurt anybody. Man, that's just a pick-me-up. Well, right now, Carlos Silva cannot do that.
So South Korea has batted around here in the first inning. Ha-Kyuk Park is their number 9 hitter, their shortstop. They've scored 5 runs on 4 hits, a walk, and an error. And Park will take the pitch, and it misses for a ball. Runner on at first base. And I guarantee you, whatever surprises we have seen in this World Baseball Classic, this is going to rank right up there. This half inning is one of the biggest surprises. A long way to go in the ball game, obviously, but this start for South Korea, I don't think anybody anticipated. Not against Silva, who had looked as though he was going to be able to come out and pitch deep into the ball game and pitch well based on how he had performed so far. 1-1 off the fist, knocked down, over to get it, and he's going to get an error. Unbelievable. As they say in the Peanuts cartoon, does anybody here play baseball?
Wow. I mean, there's people in the stands right now knowing that they could have made this play here. It's a broken bat. Look at that ball. It's on the ground. And instead, he kind of uses his glove like it's a highlight mallet or something. He flips it. The ball rolls too far away for him to have a throw. And you just kind of look at him. He seems completely out of sorts. And I'm completely surprised he's still in this game.
That ball is looped foul into the seats. The leadoff batter, Young-Kyu Lee, who started this out with a walk and scored. Luis Sojo not going out to make the change and sent his pitching coach out for 1 visit. There are runners on at first and second base now with 2 down. Chu has had a 3 RBI homer. And before Young even gets out there to pitch, he's going to be working with at least a 5-0 lead in this game for South Korea. It's not as though the offense of the South Korean team had been jolting anybody here as they came in with the lowest numbers of the teams that are in. They are 8th overall, and of the 4 teams in the Final 4, they are last with a .251 batting average to start the semifinal game. Trying to go to left, fouled off, remains a 2-strike count.
You know, just thinking about that 3-run homer by Chu, I had a lot of teammates tell me that, you know, give up solo homers. I can get that run back for you myself. You give up a 3-run homer, a lot of times you're on your own.
And all the guys who had not been hitting for South Korea are doing the damage here in this first inning. Chu hitting 100, 3 RBI homer. Guy hitting 059 RBI. Melvin Mora's got a force at second base and will go there and just barely gets it to Lopez.
Even that was kind of different.
Boy, 5 runs on 4 hits, 2 errors, and 2 left on base against Carlos Silva. Bobby Abreu's error to the second batter right now looks like the big one. Suk-Min Young coming out the pitch. Well, South Korea has given Venezuela a very big hill to climb, but if any team can do it, this is the club. They've got the offense.
Remember the world champion Philadelphia Phillies manager Charlie Manuel talking about his first baseman Ryan Howard. He called him a carrier. He says he can carry you. Well, right now they need Miguel Cabrera to carry them to some offense here in the bottom of the first inning.
A long, long way to go in this ball game, and that's why Venezuela has plenty of opportunities to get back. A young 22-year-old Suk-Min Young, and he delivers a strike to start this one out.
We'll just take a look at the numbers there, and boy, I don't know about you, but the one that jumps out at me, 0 walks. You got a 5-0 lead. You don't walk anybody, you're usually going to win.
Young's pitch will be taken inside for a ball. Interesting that they have chosen to sort of pitch backwards, South Korea has, because this is a finisher in a ball game, not a starting pitcher when he plays in his home league. And that pitch will be taken down low for a ball. He pitches a lot of innings, and in this ball game will he be expected to throw a lot of strikes. He just doesn't walk many, either in his own league or nor here in this World Baseball Classic. That is in there for a strike, and the count goes to 2-2. Enrique Chavez, the center fielder. There's Abreu, who's going to be yearning to get a little back for his team.
Well, they want to be patient. That was their game plan coming into play, but after Silva gave up the 5 spot, tougher to do.
Oh, what a changeup.
Take a look at Enrique Chavez there walking off and Carlos Silva walking in. You knew something was going to happen there. Frustrated. Pitching coach trying to calm him down a little bit. You know, and it's so much more, Gary, what's going on here than what happens during a regular season start because of that name that's on the front of your uniform.
Here is Melvin Mora, the third baseman from the Baltimore Orioles, hitting .273 in the Classic. He's got a home run and 7 RBIs, batting in the number 2 spot for Venezuela. Young, the starter for South Korea. Rick, you know this better than all as a major league pitcher. After you've had that kind of an inning offensively, you want to come out here and have a 1-2-3.
Yeah, you don't want to fall behind any hitters, and the key to doing that is on that first pitch. That first pitch needs to be a strike. You can throw all your pitches. Don't just fall in love with your fastball. I mean, you take a look at what he did to Mora. The very first pitch was a breaking ball. The first pitch to Chavez was a fastball. You know, you can use all of your pitches, but you want to make sure if you miss, you missed over the plate.
2-1 strike count on Melvin Mora, who does have power. Young's delivery is going to be a chopper to the hole. Park up, long throw, good scoop. Tae-Kyung Kim at first base not only has been their power, he is also a Gold Glove first baseman.
That is a really, really difficult play. It was not a short hop that he came up with. That ball probably bounced 5 feet in front of him. You take a look at it, the ball is sinking, it's tailing, and he comes up with it. I mean, I think back 20 years ago here with a first baseman wearing a blue uniform named Steve Garvey making a play like that.
Good defense, and there are 2 down, and Bobby Abreu coming up. For those of you who may not have seen the South Korean team in the World Baseball Classic yet, you will see a lot of smiles from their players during the game. They genuinely enjoy playing the game. And a play like that where another player picks them up, you'll see them smiling and pointing at one another. Well, Bobby Abreu, left-handed stick, had that costly error in the first inning, hitting .316 in the Classic, a home run, 3 RBIs, and we'll take it away. Abreu, as Rick mentioned, will have a new home going from East Coast to West Coast. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for Bobby Abreu. 1-1 delivery to him. Breaking ball will miss. 2-1.
I was talking with the coaching staff for the Angels. Of course, Bobby was there only a few days before he took off for the World Baseball Classic. They said he already made a difference with their team with just his approach in batting practice. So disciplined.
300 career major league hitter. That'll just miss inside. Close pitch. 3-1.
You know, not only when I'm talking about Ron Culpa does he have a tight zone, but sometimes he misses pitches. This ball's right down the middle. I mean, you could see the catcher sitting away. He reached back to maybe the inner half, but that ball was taken away from him.
Got it in there and a base hit for Abreu. So Venezuela gets their first hit of the ball game. Bobby Abreu on with 2 down.
Next first baseman, number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
Take a look defensively here behind Yoon. And I tell you what, you know, really, we know less about this team for me than any team, you know, in the Final Four. But as you look at the resumes in the media, guys, there are gold gloves all around. I mean, almost to a man. Everybody either has a gold glove or they have a gold medal from the Olympics.
Exactly. They knew they weren't going to out-hit a lot of teams. Here's Cabrera, first baseman, batting cleanup. Batting .321. He's had 2 home runs and 4 RBIs in the Classic. He would love to pop one right here and help get Venezuela on the board. Bobby Abreu at first base. Slider's going to miss away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tell you what, I don't know if I've ever said that there was a big at bat in the bottom of the first inning, but I think as far as this game's concerned, for me, this is right here.
I mean, if South Korea can get out of the bottom half here without surrendering a run, middle of the order for Venezuela, that's a plus. Inside corner strike as he comes back. 1-2.
Everybody trying to be selective. Every single hitter for Venezuela has found themselves in the hole after the first pitch. Now you're in that deep hole, and after seeing that changeup for strike 3 to Enrique Chavez, that's got to be in the back of Miguel Cabrera's mind.
5-0 lead for South Korea. Runner goes. Here's no throwdown. Was it a strike? No. Kyung Park, the catcher, thought he might have had a swing on that. Didn't. Abreu's going to be credited with a stolen base.
Tried to get him to chase that slider. Didn't go with the changeup there. You know, it was close. But again, here's your teammate picking you up on that pitch. Not able to make a throw, but immediately wanted to see if he could get strike 3 on the swing.
2 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down. And Cabrera. Young wanted that call.
Yeah, but that's what's changed with Cabrera. He knew when that ball started sinking that it was going to be a ball. Not only does he have the power, he can hit with runners in scoring position, but he's learning more and more about the strike zone.
Now a 3 ball, 2 strike count. And Cabrera goes, and he is out of there as he chased it. Another slider. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Semifinal game, 5-0 South Korea. Well, Carlos Silva back out on the mound, having had a chance to get his frustrations out, throwing a glove, walking down towards the clubhouse, and now we'll try and settle down. And he threw 36 pitches in the first inning, 24 strikes. Kyung-Woo Jung, ground ball towards short. Marco Scootero's got that one, and that is the first out.
Well, let's just take a look at that first inning and where those 5 runs came from. You start right off the bat. You got a routine fly ball to right. Not only does he drop it, but take a look at the throw. I mean, nothing on it. It's short hop Scootero, and he can't come up with it. So that problem is compound. There, the bases were loaded. If Silva can bend over, if he catches it, he might have been able to have a double play. No more runs scored. That didn't happen. And then you've got the number 9 guy. You've got a ground ball back to you. The inning is over, and he compounded even that problem.
Boy, just a complete disaster in that first inning for him. Strike taken. Young-Soo Kim, the number 3 hitter, had an RBI base hit in the first. 2 errors first inning. Venezuela, they had 5 in 63 previous innings. That one towards the gap, right center field. That got ladled. That'll take a hop up and off the top of the wall. Kim going into second base with a stand-up double. 2 for 2.
I'm starting to become a big believer in that Korean baseball league. This guy right here finished second in the MVP in that award. That's a slider on the inside corner, inner half. He drops the head of the bat on it. And take a look at him. I mean, he knew he had a double right off the bat, but he was going so hard thinking, maybe I can get to third.
That is going to be hit number 5.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I mean, he doesn't run real well, but you know what? He runs hard.
They will all do that. And here's a cleanup batter. Tak-Young Kim, who had a single. He scored a run in the first inning. He's now hitting .391 in the Classic. And he lifts it to left field. Oh, Lordy. Goodbye. Home run. We told you he is their powerhouse in the lineup, and he has come through in his first 2 at-bats.
And rather than talk about all the great thing he's done, he came up to me before the game, and with the interpreter, he goes, "Would you do me a favor? Would you say congratulations to my sister on her new baby son?" He was so sorry that he couldn't be there. I said, "I'll only do it if you hit a home run." Well, he just did it, and I just did it.
7-0 lead, and South Korea, putting on an offensive show, has knocked out Carlos Silva. Silva had given up just 10 hits in 11 innings with an ERA of .82 in his appearances in this World Baseball Classic. He lasts only an inning and a third and gives up 7 runs on 6 hits. These fans came to cheer, and have they had something to cheer for? A 7-0 lead for South Korea. Carlos Silva knocked out of the ball game, and 26-year-old right-hander Enrique Gonzalez comes on after Kim delivered that home run, their 6th hit. And now Da-Ho Lee, with an RBI and a ground ball out, will face Gonzalez. And the pitch is taken outside for a ball. So Gonzalez's job big time right here. 3rd game he's appeared in. He has that 1-0 record. Working the 6 innings, giving up only a couple of hits and no runs, and a breaking ball in for a strike.
That's what we've seen from him throughout this World Baseball Classic. He's had his ability to throw the breaking ball for a strike anytime he wants. Plus, he can locate it, Gary, backdooring it to those left-handed hitters.
He will miss inside with that. Da-Ho Lee hitting a .267 against Enrique Gonzalez, who will be in a Red Sox organization uniform this year. Played at San Diego and Portland in the minor leagues, Major League Baseball last season. Went 7-5 at AAA ball in 35 games, 13 as a starter, and the rest out of the bullpen. (3-1) center field. Andy Chavez, 2 down.
That was the one thing watching his swing in batting practice, more so really than anybody else. He's kind of got a longer swing. Look at where the bat starts. Look at all of the motion there. You see he's a huge guy. But look at his bat. Watch his leg, the big leg kick. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that swing, and he tied himself up there on a pretty good pitch to hit.
Sin-Soo Choo stands in. 2 home runs have been hit in this ball game by South Korea. They have had 10 home runs in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, I don't think anybody thought they had that kind of power coming in.
Well, particularly when you think about hitting them in San Diego.
Yeah.
All you hear about are the Padre players complaining about how big that ballpark is. Korea made it look small.
2-0 delivery on the way, and that will be taken down low. His first home run of the Classic came in the 1st inning, and right now it is the biggest blow of the ball game because it was a 3 RBI homer for Choo from the Cleveland Indians.
Well, thank the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah. Check swing, and he did not go around.
We were waiting for the lineups to begin with, and they're always a little late with that, but they were waiting on a phone call from the front office of the Cleveland Indians saying whether he could play or not because of his elbow.
Sore left tricep problem that he's had right from the get-go, and he's going to draw the walk. So with 2 down, South Korea keeps the inning alive. For Silva, he gave up 7 runs, 6 earned on 6 hits over an inning and a third. He walked 1 and struck out none.
36 pitches in that first inning. All 4 hits that he allowed, he was either even or ahead in the count. And 3 of the hits, he had 2 strikes. You know what? You say he just couldn't put anybody away, but I say they wouldn't let him put him away.
Choi up. Well, how about the numbers early on for South Korea with runners in scoring position? They are already 4 for 6 with 7 RBIs. I mean, that's a whole game's worth of runners in scoring position numbers. 1-0 count with 2 down. Good pitch down and in to him. Grounded out his first time up. So now the bullpen of Venezuela must be strong. 5 in the first, 2 so far in the second. Give their team a chance to get back. That will miss outside. 2-1.
I guarantee you, Venezuela still thought they were in the ball game. But all of a sudden, with that last swing of the bat by Taekwon Kim, those 2 runs took a lot of wind out of their sail.
2-1 delivery on the way. Check swing. Did he go? Check it first. No. You can always say, Rick, when you're on the field, all right, the team had 1 big inning.
Yeah.
It was the first inning. That's it. We shut them down.
Let's
we
peck
can
away.
score runs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll get back in. Let's get 1, then we'll get 2, we'll get 3, we'll have the lead. Well, not now.
Young Choi, 3-ball, 1 strike count. Runner going and a slow chopper third base side. Gonzalez fields in the dirt and it gets away. Chu heading for third base. He'll make the turn, watch the ball and stop. Jung Choi will stay at first. The 3rd error charged to Venezuela.
Boy, this is just as bad as it gets. Nice job getting there. Quick release, but a bad throw. And then you got a first baseman. We've seen the Korean first baseman come up with a throw a lot tougher than that. Cabrera does not, and the inning continues.
Kyungwon Park, the catcher, with runners at first and third. And they were lucky a run didn't score on that. That ball bounced back towards the first base area rather than towards right field.
Yeah, if it goes down into that dugout or any of those things, it would have been another run.
Park had a single his first time up. He's hitting just 111 in the Classic. He's a .273 hitter last year, playing in the South Korean League, professional league, a 4-time Gold Glove winner. 18 years of experience playing. Big cut at it. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Gonzalez with runners at first and third and 2 out.
He can still do everything defensively behind the plate. Not the offensive player, Park, that he once was. Back in 2000, he hit 40 home runs.
1-1 delivery. Runner goes. Throw through. Runner at third is out as Melvin Mora got over to cover. Shin-Soo Choo just got a little too far down the line and could not get back to the bag.
You know what, though? They're putting the game in motion. That was what we thought the key was for them. And if you err on the side of aggressiveness. So what? You got caught one time.
They got a couple more runs, though, on the home run by Tak-Young Kim, and it is 7-0 South Korea. Venezuela coming up in the bottom half of the second inning. A 7-0 lead for South Korea, trying to move into the finals on Monday. The U.S. and Japan will play in the other semifinal tomorrow night. Carlos Guillen will lead it off. And Guillen takes the pitch for a strike. Switch hitter, designated hitter, batting .231 in the Classic with a couple of home runs and 4 RBIs. 22-year-old right-hander Young delivers at a strike on the outside corner. 0-2.
I think right now Venezuela has got to completely change their game plan. They wanted to be patient. They wanted to come in, work the count, what have you. That's over with. Now that Yoon has the lead, he is pounding that strike zone.
0-2 delivery. Got it in, and it'll be fouled away. Venezuela, coming into this ball game, has won their last 5 games in the Classic. They beat Italy in round 1 7-0. They lost to the U.S. 15-6, but then beat Italy again 10-1. Beat the U.S. 5-3. They beat the Netherlands 3-1 in the second round. Puerto Rico 2-0, and the U.S. 10-6. So 5 consecutive wins for them, and the only loss recorded against the United States in the first round, 15-6. Down to first base, hit hard. Kim knocks it down. Pitcher covers. Umpires in the World Baseball Classic, both those from the major leagues and those from the International Baseball Federation. Ron Culpa's got the plate. Willie Rodriguez. Paul Emmel from the United States at second. Paul Hyam, who is from Australia, is at third base. And then we do have the extra umpires in Carlos Ray in right field for Puerto Rico, and Darrell Cousins, major league umpire, down the left field line.
A lot of experience. Take a look at Carlos Ray and Willie Rodriguez from Puerto Rico, both with 19 years of professional service. And of course, the crew chief, Darrell Cousins, down that left field line with 30.
Maglio Ordonez. And that is going to be over near the stands and just out of reach. Chu going over, had no play. Maglio hitting at .208, no home runs and no RBIs. So despite all the offense that this team has put up, he has not been part of it. He hit .317 with Detroit last year, 21 homers and 103 RBIs for Ordonez. He, of course, has suffered the boos of fellow countrymen in the United States who watched him play in the second round and did not appreciate the fact that he had supported the Venezuelan president. That is taken inside. So he's had a kind of rough Classic.
Yeah, he has. I tell you what, I've heard Derek Jeter booed at Fenway, and this blew away what Jeter hears there, the boos he got.
2-2 delivery, jamming him again, and it'll go full 3-2.
That's one thing that I've seen too. I mean, he struggled in the 06 series, hitting only 100, struggling again now, and yeah, I mean they're getting ahead in the count and they're pounding him in.
3-2 delivery to him, ground ball towards short. Park gets this throw up, and there are 2 down.
Well, it's not only one of the prettiest ballparks you'll ever find, but it's just perfectly symmetrical. You take a look, 330 down the line. All of a sudden you got 395 to dead center. The power alleys are exactly the same. The one big difference, though, as opposed to, you know, back in the 70s and 80s when I played here, Gary, are the foul ball territory. They've added these new, nicer seats that are right down on the field, but a lot of times, just like that fly ball down the right field line from Maglio, that ball would have been caught. That was a great shot, guys. Thank you. You can see where all the new seating has been put in, all of that gold or yellow right down at the front.
You guys as pitchers don't appreciate that.
No, that took away a lot of outs.
Jose Lopez, all that foul territory taken away. Balls that would have been foul pop-ups end up going in the seats. Chopper over the middle. Park, he'll run that one down, makes the running throw. And Yan has got that sinker going. Ground ball pitcher when he's on, and he's on right now. Retires the side in order. South Korea a surprisingly early 7-0 lead. The long ball used twice. First one, a 3 RBI shot by Chu, that a 2 RBI shot by Kim. Setting off the South Korean fans on a 7-0 lead over Venezuela.
Well, possibly by 2 major leaguers, Chu in the big leagues and Kim a free agent at the end of this year.
One thing that's certainly going to happen Major League scouts and teams and organizations may take a little closer look at what's going on in South Korea. Not that they haven't been doing that, but I think this ball club has added a little, hey, wait a minute. Just how good are they? Here is Park. Park hitting in the number 8 spot, was at the plate when the caught stealing occurred for the out at third base. Kyungwon Park singled his first time up. This ground ball handled by Scootero. One away in the top half of the third inning.
You know what, Gary, I totally agree with you. And I think not only with their baseball in Korea getting better, but I think with the steroid being gone in Major League Baseball, all of a sudden now the speed game, the bunting game, the defensive game becomes so much more important.
Back to basics.
Absolutely.
I mean, you'll have your guys who are going to hit the home runs, but not nearly the number of home runs nor the number of people doing it. So you need people who can make fine defensive plays.
Well, you just stop and think about the American League leader in home runs last year, Miguel Cabrera, with 37.
Yeah. And it wasn't that many years ago we were talking 70.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not anymore.
I think you and I both agree 61 is still the record.
60. I do.
For me, it is.
I agree. The pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Ki-hyuk Park, the number 9 hitter, reached on an error. Enrique Gonzalez coming out of the bullpen. One away here in the third inning. He came on with one down in the second. He'll be asked to do some long relief work. As we said, the full bullpens are available to both of these teams because of the day off yesterday. Pitchers who had thrown were able to get the day of rest as required under the World Baseball Classic rules. Down to third, Melvin Moreno. 2 down.
You know, just kind of thinking, Luis Sojo joking yesterday about if it doesn't work out with Silva and Felix Hernandez doesn't pitch. I mean, in his own words, he said, I'm going to look like an idiot. You know, he was there in Toronto when he saw what Team Canada did. Scott Richmond, their best pitcher, they were saving him, thinking they'd get by Italy. He never saw the mound for Team Canada.
Can't have that happen.
Well,
you can't. You just can't. That is in there for a strike. I suspect what happened here, Rick, is that Silva it was such a disaster so early that he's trying to find a plug in the middle before he makes that move, save him for a little later in the ball game.
I was just surprised that he got to face the number 9 guy in the first inning.
Yeah.
And then really surprised when he came back out for the second, and honestly not surprised when he gave up another homer.
Young-Kyu Lee up, ground ball up the middle. Scootero, the big hop, running throw, and he'll get the out. And a good inning by Gonzalez as he retires the side in order. 3 ground ball outs. South Korea leading it 7-0. Keep up with all the latest World Baseball Classic news and stats by visiting the official online shop of the World Baseball Classic, www.worldbaseballclassic.com. The largest selection of authentic World Baseball items, all 16 countries, T-shirts, jerseys, clubhouse, all kinds of good stuff for you at www.worldbaseballclassic.com. Marlins fan there. Sunset time, Los Angeles. Little twilight here. Ramon Hernandez, the catcher for Venezuela, who is batting 8th. He's had a very fine classic. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 400 batting average. Not bad for a number 8 hitter in the lineup. South Korea's put the hurt on. Young, the starter. Hernandez will take the pitch outside. 1-1.
Venezuela's got a lot out of their catching. Max Ramirez, the power prospect for the Texas Rangers, is homered, and Henry Blanco has homered.
Here's the 1 ball, 1 strike count. Grounded again. Boy, that sinker's eating them up. Nice play made. Choi got him.
I totally agree with you. In fact, the guys in the truck nice enough to give us a replay. Watch this movement. Look at that ball just biting towards the hands of that right-handed hitter. I mean, look at it. It just continues to go. That ball would not even have been called a strike had he taken it, but it looked like a strike for so long. And look at the depth on it, the late movement, that late life. That ball got in on him as well.
Another ground ball out, one away. Number 9 hitter Marco Scootero. He'll take that for a strike. Scootero, the shortstop, hitting .300 with a couple of RBIs here in the Classic.
8 out of 9. First pitch strikes. That's how you do it when you take the mound with a lead.
Don't hurt yourself, huh? Fouls it off.
But you see that pitch there. He's using every one of his pitches. He's used a little tight slider to strike out Cabrera. Used a changeup for Chavez to strike him out. And this is just a little get-over curveball. Look at how he takes a little bit off of it. Just kind of drops it in there for another strike.
Sun-Min Young with the 0-2 count. Scootero. As we said, Young, the starter, in league play last year, ended up with a 2.33 earned run average. He had a great year the year before that at 2.28. He's been a closer and a starter. Appeared in 24 games, won 14-5 last year after he'd been the leading closer in the league the year before. Fouls that one back upstairs, remains 0-2.
Well, it's absolutely worked. Talking with their manager, Mr. Kim, yesterday, he said we're going to use him to try to use his off-speed stuff and slow down these big bats. Well, now you see they've slowed down because of the changeup, and now they're behind the fastball.
Marco Scootero, the outfield fairly deep on him. The 0-2 sliders outside, a ball and 2 strikes.
I love this catcher. I love the way he frames the ball. I love the good low target. And right there, even though he missed with that pitch, he kind of gave the nod back to the pitcher like, yeah, you got a chance right there, buddy.
At his way inside, we told you Park, who is the catcher, is a veteran of 18 seasons, 4 Gold Gloves. He's 36 years old. How are those knees still doing this?
Wow. I just think of great physical training and a lot of discipline.
Here's the 2-2. Off the mound, off the glove. Young trying to knock it down, couldn't. Lee will come on to pick it up. And a base hit for Scootero. Second hit for Venezuela.
When that ball took off, immediately I thought right down base hit. But then all of a sudden I thought about the range that they have. Watch this. It's right by the pitcher. It's off the pitcher's mound. You know, they talk about a guy having a good first step, a quick. How about a good 5 steps?
They give up on nothing.
That's awesome. That is great.
Offensively or defensively, they are after it. 2 hits now for Venezuela. Runner on, 1 down. Top of the order. And Enrique Chavez, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Young has had no walks, 2 strikeouts so far in the ballgame.
Great positioning out there on the defense as well. Take a look at how they've shortened up now. Both at second, short, and third, so that they're in position to turn that double play.
Chavez, he's going to get a base hit out of that into right field. Scootero. Notice these balls are still being hit on the ground, so he's still got the sinker is still working, but they're finding some holes.
Yeah, but sometimes that defensive alignment doesn't work for you, because by shortening up, take a look here. Look at the hole between first and second. The experience of Chavez, they're trying to pull it through there, and also the positioning of the second baseman doesn't allow him to come close to getting to that. But that's the chance you take.
Now here's a chance for Venezuela to get right back in this ball game. They've got the power part of their order coming up. Melvin Mora, then Abreu due up, 2 on, and only 1 away.
And there's some activity, so be it nobody throwing yet down there in Team Korea's bullpen, but everybody up and off their chairs, and now all of a sudden the telephone rings.
Not going to wait long, because you must win this game to move to the final for the championship on Monday night. As we are in the semifinals, it's the first of 2. U.S.-Japan tomorrow. Towards short. That is a base hit. Kim was very deep. Runner will come home, and Melvin Moore has got an RBI single. Venezuela's on the board. It's 7-1.
Give him some credit, Gary. Venezuela has changed their approach. First time around, being patient, found themselves constantly in the hole. All of a sudden now, Melvin Morris says, boys, he's throwing a strike with everything he's got. I don't care if it's a slider. You see that pitch was right down the heart of the plate. what Yoon's been doing is he's throwing it down the middle to begin with and then going to the corners with all of his pitches. This is the best pitch you're going to get to hit in that at bat, and that's exactly what Melvin Mora does.
Melvin Mora leads Venezuela in RBIs. He's got 8 now, as Scootero picked up the single scores. Still only 1 out, and Bobby Abreu, who had a single and would like nothing more than to give back for the error he committed, is coming up.
You know, he's a man with a lot of pride, and you know he feels like he kind of opened the gates, and the next thing you know, they're down by a touchdown.
We were talking between innings, Rick. All the ball clubs have played, 16 of them in this World Baseball Classic. They've all had a bad inning along the way.
Yeah.
And you know that's going to happen. Now you overcome it.
Wait a minute here. The pitching coach has already come out.
Jung, the second baseman, is going to be replaced.
See, the first base umpire started signaling, wait a minute, you can't change the pitcher. The pitching coach already came to the mound. That's not what he wanted to do. He's already done this. You were telling me about it before in the series, where he puts in more defense in the infield out there to try to turn that double play.
This has got to be as early a defensive change as you're ever going to see. We're only in the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, but you know what? You turn a double play here that maybe somebody else couldn't have done. You look like a genius.
See, that's the kind of stuff that this manager's done. Young Min Koo, who's a great defensive second baseman, is out there. He is their best defensive infield player among many very good ones. So he puts his best defensive second baseman in with runners at first and second and only 1 away. Those are the kind of changes that manager has made in Sik Kim. Bobby Abreu takes the slider in the inside corner. 1-1, 2 on, 1 out.
I don't see anything wrong with the way Yoon is throwing. He's given up a couple of ground balls, and he just needs to get one at somebody.
3 ground ball singles here in the inning have resulted in the run. I mean, that works, but he's also doing what he wants to do, getting the ground balls. Abreu hitting .350, 1 home run in the Classic. Off-speed delivery. Only play is going to be at first. And boy, was that close. Running throw made by Ki-Hyun Park will get the out.
First baseman number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
There was that diving play. Look at that. Frustrated that he couldn't get to that ball, but it's kind of ironic that that's the guy that's replaced. I guess they feel like the new guy could have made that play. I don't know.
In Sik Kim is like that. Their manager, if you make a mistake out there, you can be gone in a heartbeat.
I love him, man. I'm telling you, I've gained so much respect for him.
Second and third. Here's a big at bat again early in the ball game. Here's Cabrera. 2 on and 2 out. Cabrera, strikeout victim his first time up. 4 RBIs, hitting at .310 with a couple of home runs. At third base, Enrique Chavez. Melvin Mora at second. Timeout taken at the plate. A good house on hand here for this ball game tonight. It's not going to be a sellout. They were hoping they would get about 40,000 in here tonight, and I think they have here at Dodger Stadium. The U.S. and Japan play tomorrow night, and then the 2 winners on Monday night. 0-1 off speed, misses. 1-1.
Tell you what, it sure sounds like there's more than 40,000 here.
Oh, the fans have just been great at this Classic for many of these games as far as being into it.
You know, it actually even goes back to the first practice for Team Japan when they said 40,000 people showed up to watch practice.
How about that? 1-1 delivery. Hit high in the air to left field near the warning track. It will be caught. Kim is there. Cabrera's retired. 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 left in scoring position. Cabrera gave it a try, but this one just missed. And one of the few fly balls that he's given up stays in the yard. 7-1 Korea.
Tell you what, with one swing of the bat, Miguel Cabrera, the carrier, almost put Venezuela back into this ball game. This is the first ball that was put into the air in this ball game, and you take a look, Gary, he just missed it. He hit that ball off the end of the bat.
that close to a 3-run homer.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a quarter of an inch. And then you see the frustration, you're thinking maybe. And then you got to remember Dodger Stadium.
So the first at bat for the new second baseman. As Koo comes on, he will be batting in that number 2 spot. 286, a home run and an RBI. And that one launched left center field. Back. That's going to take a hop off the wall. Go on his way to second base, and he's got a double. You bring him in for defense, and he delivers a double in his first at bat.
That's managing right there. Take a look at this ball and how it was hit, though. One thing I've learned watching Team Korea, their outfielders take terrific routes to the baseball. It's almost like from point to point. Look at Maglio's route here. I mean, he cut to his left, and then by that time he had to circle back. The ball actually went over his head. Now, I'm not saying that he could have made that play, but you know what? The Korean outfielders would have made it.
Young Min Go on at second base, and he's got tremendous speed, so they're going to have to keep an eye on him. He had 39 stolen bases last year, a career high for him, and we have seen him earlier in this classic and other games. He'll take off at third if you don't hold him.
You know, but yeah, I agree, but this isn't the spot for me. You got nobody out. You got a left-handed hitter up. You know, could he? Yeah, but with the left-handed hitter, boy, that throw for the catcher is so much easier.
And especially, Rick, when you got these power bats coming up, better just to let the bats have their day and do the work.
Absolutely. Now, I think if you're able to get the out here and you get the right-handed hitter up, then it's in the back of your mind. You know what? Maybe I take a shot. If I get a good jump, I'll go. But right now, I just stay put.
Enrique Gonzalez out of the bullpen for Venezuela. Delivers 0-1. It is a 7-run, 7-hit attack so far for South Korea. Venezuela's 1-4 and 3 costly errors, although only 1 unearned run is on the board from those errors. But those errors affected the psyche of this Venezuela team a lot. 1-1 pitch, and that is taken down low. Carlos Silva got knocked out after just an inning and a third. The Venezuela starter, giving up all 7 runs on 6 hits with a walk and no strikeouts.
I love what Korea is doing here offensively. They're playing the game like it's tied. I mean, they're taking every at bat and every pitch like the game's on the line.
2-1 delivery. Off speed outside. They are not helping Gonzalez. They will not chase pitches. They came into this game with 37 base on balls and having surrendered only 16. That's part of what you're talking about, Rick. They play that patient, fundamentally sound game all the time. 3-1 delivery, and there's a walk. Second surrendered by Gonzalez. 2 on and nobody out.
You know, I tell you too, Gary, right along with that, as a former pitcher, if I were to stop and look behind me at Team Korea's defense, you're an idiot to walk anybody. Give them a chance to make a play.
2 on, nobody out. And here's the big bat again, right where they want him. Tae-Kyun Kim has delivered his 3rd home run of the Classic, a 2 RBI homer in his last at bat. He singled in his first time up. He has scored 2 runs. He's now got 11 RBIs in the Classic. And a breaking ball is in there for a strike.
Take a look at this pitch. It was a sinker in. I mean, not surprised he hit a homer, but really surprised he was able to keep that ball fair. This tells you what a good hitter he is.
His 11 RBIs lead everybody in the Classic. Fouled away. Tied for the lead in home runs with 3. The South Korean fans well aware of just how much power he brings on their feet to watch him. Cepeda with 10. His second now. Cepeda from Cuba. Strike 3 call in the inside corner.
I'm a little surprised at this. Ron Culpo's had a tight strike zone all night long. Take a look at the inside corner. That ball was off the plate from the very beginning. I mean, I would never mind as a hitter if you took strike one away from me or two, but don't take three, because that's when you take the bat out of my hand, and that's what happened there.
Yep. So Kim is a strikeout victim. That's only the third time that he has struck out in this classic.
That one shouldn't count.
Yep. It is the first out of the inning. Runners remain on at first and second base. Da-Ho Lee is an RBI and a ground ball out, and he is 0 for 2 in the ball game. .250 so far in the classic.
I look for him to be a lot quicker in this at bat. Remember the last at bat with the 3-1 count? He jammed himself. He'll get the head of the bat out in front of home plate this time. And it's a great opportunity to try to steal third.
And you've got the speedster at second being held tight down the line and right, and that'll be a foul ball. The South Korean team in the first classic in '06 made it to the semifinals. They were eliminated by the ultimate champion Japan in a 6-0 loss in the semifinals. Venezuela did not play as well as expected in '06. They were 7th among the 16 teams when it was all said and done. Venezuela came back loaded. Victor Zambrano up for them in the bullpen. 1-1 pickoff attempt. Oops. Double coverage as Lopez and Scootero at second and short both moved in.
Well, guys that really haven't played a lot together, we kind of thought Turris would be the shortstop tonight. Luis Sojo has flip-flopped every other game with this Turris and Scootero at that position.
1-1. Go's definitely drawn their attention out there at second base.
Boy, they're wanting to go, and I'm telling you what, if the guy at second goes, the guy at first is right behind him.
Runner not going. Pick off at first. They got him. Ball gets away, and a run's going to score. Oh, mercy, another error. It is 8-1, and they had him by 3 feet at first base. Ramon Hernandez throw trickled into the outfield.
It only says 3 errors, but in my book they've got 4. A play Silva should have made now, and they've only got 4 hits. Look at this. Ramon Hernandez has him out by a lot, and Miguel Cabrera just simply cannot come up with that throw. Oh, you just wonder if Miguel didn't take his at bat out there to the field with him.
Where are the gloves for Venezuela in this game? Fouled off. I mean, Bobby Abreu dropped a ball that he sat on waiting for it back in the first inning. That throw to first base could not have been better. I mean, it was right belt high. All you had to do was catch it and put the glove down.
Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I am stunned.
I agree with you.
At the play of Venezuela so far in this ball game.
It has all gone wrong for Venezuela.
2-2 delivery on the way, and that will miss inside, and a 3-ball 2-strike count on Lee. Kim goes down to second base on the error. Gu comes around to score on the error. Ties the record in errors committed in the ball game, 4, and we're only in the 4th inning. 3-2 ground ball hit towards where they weren't playing him. Lopez has to move over. He gets the runner moved over, but there is the second out. So with 2 down, Shin-Soo Choo will get the opportunity to bring a runner in. Gonzalez came on to pitch back in the second inning. Surrendered the only hit he's given up here with a leadoff double to Gu in this inning, and he scored. And Choo fouls that one off.
This to me is really the big blow of this ball game. That's when all of a sudden Venezuela took note. They took the field with a lot of confidence tonight. They had everything in the world going for them until that swing of the bat.
0-1 count to him in the dirt. Good stop made Hernandez. 1-1.
I'm a little surprised they're pitching to him here. I mean,
first base open, and
he's a big.
He's a major league player.
Absolutely, he has dominated.
1-1. Runner off third base. Takes it outside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. He has not been hot, as we mentioned during the tournament, hitting just 182, but he is obviously dangerous at the plate because of his major league experience.
And he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, he wasn't healthy. Well, they're not giving me anything to hit here, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Let's see if they just put him on or if they actually try and throw a strike here. 3-1 delivery. They did, and he went after it. Good pitch, 3-2.
He went after it.
He went after it.
They went after him, and he went after them.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Chu with a home run and a walk. And out on strikes.
That's a great pitch.
Gonzalez comes back to get him, but another run added. 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on base. Perfect pitch on the inside corner. Enrique Gonzalez, 2 Ks. Coming into this ball game, of the 4 teams remaining, Venezuela had the best batting average as a team, and South Korea at .251, the lowest of the 4. So of course it's South Korea 8 and Venezuela 1. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, that'll be a base hit. Guillen going after the first pitch. He'll make a turn and stay. Lee will get it back in. Carlos Guillen, a base hit.
I think Korea has seen this before, and you were there, Gary, in San Diego on Thursday against Japan. They lost 6-2. They were held to 6 hits, and they too had 3 errors. So that was kind of their game, and up to this point right now, that's been the story of the night for Venezuela.
That'll be hit number 5 for Venezuela. Tough to score though when all of them are singles. And the pitch is taken inside. Maglio Ordonez grounded out his first time up. Young, the starter, has walked none and struck out 2. He's kept the ball primarily on the ground with that sinker. The 1-0, foul back. Pitchers have 100 pitches that they can throw in this semifinal and final round, up from the 85 of the 2nd round. So you expect the starters to go pretty deep if they're on, which Carlos Silva, the starter for Venezuela, was not. 1-1. Outside corner, 1-2.
Tell you what, Gary, after batting practice was over for Maglio's group, how they pick up the balls and put them back in for the next group. He really struggled bending over to pick ball. It wouldn't surprise me if his back's not bothering him.
Hitting only 200. Ooh, close pitch, just missed. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
Just to bend over, you could kind of see him kind of grimace, and he used the bat kind of like as a cane to get down there to it.
Not a good sign. 2-2 delivery, and that'll be grounded to third. Cut off. Choi 1, relay, double play. If the shortstop has to play that ball, you're only going to get 1. But because the third baseman plays it, you get 2.
Well, and because of Maglio's back or whatever it is, he doesn't get down that line well at all. I mean, he's running like he's favoring something there. Look at the turn. They talk about a middle infielder. You got to be willing to wear it. Well, he was willing to wear it. Look at that. I mean, that's just, you see the look on his face. It's almost like he was in pain running.
So a big double play eliminates that leadoff base hit. 2 down, nobody on. Jose Lopez grounded out his first time up. Lopez will go to short with this. Park is up. And the ground balls keep coming. The defense keeps shining. And the lead stays with South Korea, 8-1. The 09 World Baseball Classic semifinals will be continuing tomorrow night here at Dodger Stadium. The 06 defending champion team from Japan will face USA at 8 Eastern. And on Monday night, the championship game is going to start at 9:30 Eastern. And one of these two teams will play the winner of Japan USA. Check your local listings. The World Baseball Classic. Baseball spoken here. Slow chopper by Choi to third. Mora the running throw. One pitch and one out. A little bit about South Korea baseball. It was introduced by a missionary back in 1905. History tells us. And then between the turn of the century time and the time they started the league, a lot of corporate teams played in South Korea. They finally got their league started in 1922, and following World War II, it really heated up. South Korea now has 8 teams that compete in their in-country league, and of course they are the gold medal winners in the Olympics from '08 in Beijing. And a check swing on a strike. Park up.
You know, Gary, just looking at the ages of the Korean team, they're only going to get better.
Yeah, they really have moved their programs along. Again, down to third and foul. 0-2 count. Interesting talking with their manager and some of their other coaches. For a long time, they patterned their play after the Japanese. They watched Japanese baseball, was closer to them. They've now kind of turned more towards the major leagues in the United States and try and do a little more of what's done in the majors.
That's who they watch, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So what you get is a great blend. You have this great fundamental disciplined style of play we are used to from Japan, but then you also get to see a kind of loose offense with power that they're willing to go to now. They don't. I mean, there was a time when they kind of denied power hitters. They didn't want them playing.
But how about the enthusiasm?
Oh, that's
off the charts, isn't it?
Off the charts. Yeah.
And the youth and the exuberance that these guys have. I laughed when they were telling us how the young guys were afraid to get on the plane. They'd never traveled that far, and they were asking questions like, now, will the plane have enough gas to get there? I mean, are you sure? I mean, you know, the cold feet and the heavy breathing. I mean, that's great stuff.
It is great stuff. Here's a 2-2 delivery. Park. Did he go around? They will check at first base. No. Willie Rodriguez, the first base umpire. 3-2.
Two that I didn't know, in the Korean League, they all travel by bus. 2, 3, maybe a 4-hour trip is about it.
3-2 delivery in the way, and a broken back ground ball to first base. Gonzalez will get over the cover. A flip to him from Cabrera. Park is retired. 2 down here in the 5th inning. Ki-hyuk Park, number 9 hitter, will be coming up. They play international baseball, and most fans in the United States are not familiar with international play, but there's lots of it. 77 Intercontinental Cup champions. They won the International Baseball Federation World Cup gold medal in '02, the World Baseball bronze medal in '06, and then took that big gold medal at the '08 Olympics. And obviously, many of these players you're seeing for South Korea were in the Olympics. And a strike on the outside corner. Interestingly, these two teams as countries have played only twice before, and they were amateur players that were involved in those games back in '02 and '07. And in those occasions, South Korea beat Venezuela in the '02 World Cup 9-2 and beat them in the '07 World Cup 4-0, but not with these players.
Yeah.
They were amateur players involved in those competitions. The 0-2 pitch to Park is outside. Now you have all the major league players from Venezuela and all of the professional players in the South Korean league playing in this game. Gonzalez, a 1-2 delivery. 2-2.
Thinking about that, it's been said in the past, USA in a lot of those international tournaments, they weren't sending their best teams. Well, you can't say that now, because they are well represented in this World Baseball Classic, and they were in '06. They just weren't prepared.
2 ball, 2 strike count. I have wondered as I watched the games in '06, we covered them, and here again, we talked so much about how the U.S. wasn't prepared. I'm almost want to back up a little bit, thinking that myself, and think, you know something, I may have underestimated the ball playing ability of the teams they were competing against. It may have been better than anybody thought. It certainly is in this classic. Outside for a walk. Third walk surrendered by Gonzalez. Comes with 2 down. And top of the order coming up. 8 Major League MVPs are involved in this baseball classic. There are 2 Cy Young Award winners. The Japanese League MVPs, 4 of those, and 4 rookies, 2 rookies of the year in that same league. There are 2 Korean League MVPs and 4 Korean League rookies of the year. You're talking, Rick, about level of talent. These teams are sending their best. Lee up, runner on at first base, 2 down. Leadoff batter, drew a walk, first inning scored. He's hit into a fielder's choice and is grounded out. Young Kyu Lee batting at .273 in the classic. Gonzalez has done a heck of a job coming on in the second inning. He's working his 3rd full inning of relief. He's given up the 1 run and only 1 hit. 1-1 with 2 away, and that one towards second base in the big hop. Force at second. Lopez gets it over to Scootero. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a base runner left on. Middle part of our ball game, and South Korea leads Venezuela 8-1. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the World Baseball Classic Incorporated may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Bud Selig, Commissioner of Baseball since 1998 and the biggest supporter of the World Baseball Classic.
I'm sure it feels good to him. He got a great ovation as he walked off. People wanting to shake his hand. He was signing autographs.
Yes, he's wanted this classic in the worst way and put it together with the Major League Baseball Players Association and the international federations.
It's just been an amazing success. I mean, there were all the skeptics to begin with, but
Hernandez knocked down, got a chance, got him! Oh, mercy! What a play at short by Ki-Hyung Park. Hernandez is not fast. He's going to argue, or his coach is, that he should have been called safe, but what a nice play.
Look at the range here. That ball is right back up the middle. I mean, it's just barely to the left side of second base. The throw down there, Kim trying to sell it. Watch where this ball goes. I mean, again, it's right up off the mound. There's the dive out into the outfield grass. The quick exchange, the full extension from the first baseman. You've got to know a lot of things. You got to know your base runner. You know it's a catcher. You know you got a chance. I thought he beat it. But I tell you what, it's just amazing that it was even close, that there was even a play. Up, there's the throw. He's safe.
Willie Rodriguez, the umpire at first base, and Luis Sojo, the skipper for Venezuela, talking about it.
Shortstop number 12, Michael Scootero.
Tell you what, it's almost like a home game for Korea. There are so many Korean fans here, and they were cheering for the call. And every now and then, as an umpire, you get kind of caught up in it, and you give them what they want.
Amazing. The biggest population of Koreans is only about 5 miles from the ballpark of those who live here in Los Angeles.
That's what I was reading it. Yeah, I did not know that.
Very large contingent of Korean fans have shown up here. Scootero, and he'll foul that one away. 1 down. I learned when we were in San Diego, we had a tremendous turnout of fans, that in the Riverside, South Los Angeles area, there's about 250,000 South Koreans that live there. It's the largest single area of South Korean population in the United States. 0-2 delivery, so they've just gone one way and then the other to watch their team from Korea play from San Diego here to Los Angeles. Marco Scootero, he singled and scored in the 3rd inning. The lone run for Venezuela came in an RBI single by Melvin when they bunched 3 singles together. off Young, the starter, who is still out there. He has not walked a batter, and he has struck out 2.
Well, it seems like he's finishing just about every hitter with 2 or 3 pitches. I mean, this is really the first deep count that he's had in a while. 13 of 16 at one point, first pitch strikes.
2 ball, 2 strike count. And he gets another ground ball. Choi running throw. Oh, no, safe. Now that one looks like he might have been out.
I think we're even now.
Okay. That'll be a base hit.
I think we got it right, because Kim's not complaining about it, but his reaction at first was that he was out. He had to play.
Center fielder number 47.
He's out. But we got it right now. We're right where we should be. There should be one out and a man on first.
And there is. So the number 9 hitter for Venezuela in this power pack lineup is leading them in offense with 2 singles so far. Top of the order, Enrique Chavez. He has singled and struck out, 1 down. Fine play made. Can't do it much better than that. Chavez will take it for a strike. That's the other thing you were talking about, Rick. First pitch strikes. He's only 22 years old.
Oh. And there's not a big league team in baseball that wouldn't take him right now.
0-1 off-speed breaking ball, 0-2.
That's a great lesson for all the young pitchers out there. You know, there's guys that struggle when pitching with a lead. They don't know how to do it. I've seen so many times where all of a sudden they just start throwing fastball. Well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna get right back in that ball game. You have to pitch exactly with the same sequence you normally would. You just don't have to waste anything.
Young will just miss down low with that one. We talked about the gold medal that South Korea won. This pitcher was a major part of it. He went 2-1 with a save in the Olympics with a 2.35 ERA. He had allowed only a run. He had 6 strikeouts and 5 relief appearances in the 2008 Olympics. He's pitched under pressure at a young age. 2 ball, 2 strikeout. Runner at first base, 1 out. Oh. Boy, did that fool him, but he held up.
Boy, I don't know how he was able to hold up on this. At one point, there was intent to swing the bat. And that's the ruling. Was there intent to try to make contact? Yeah, at that point right there was.
He gets a break on that one. Runner goes and swung on and missed, and a strike him out, throw him out, double play. What was that? Marco Scootero, did he think there were 2 down already?
No, he was sent.
Holy
He was sent
moly.
because of the 3-2 count. The runner wasn't holding him on, but he was not going near as hard as he should have been.
You talk about running out of an inning. Good throw by Kyung Park, and that will end the inning, and Venezuela continues to.
Right when you think it can't get any worse.
Exactly. With Rick Sutcliffe, I'm Gary Thorne. We are at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, the first of 2 semifinal games leading up to the championship game on Monday. And right now, South Korea an 8-1 lead over Venezuela, and Victor Zambrano onto the bullpen to pitch for Venezuela.
Victor has been around. You take a look at the numbers there, and the 2009 World Baseball Classic, not really an overpowering type guy, and honestly not a guy you expected to see on the mound tonight.
A good job by Enrique Gonzalez. The reliever went 3 2/3 innings, 1 unearned run on 1 hit. He had a couple of strikeouts and 3 walks. So he did his part. But the pitching and defense of South Korea has held the bats of Venezuela to just the 1 run on 6 hits. Speedster Koo at the plate, and he'll take it outside for a ball. Came on as a defensive replacement, and then in his first at bat doubled and scored the unearned run that came across in the 4th inning. 1-1 delivery to him is down low.
Tell you what, I liked a lot what I saw in Enrique Gonzalez throughout this World Baseball Classic. I think the Boston Red Sox might have picked the pockets of the San Diego Padres.
2-1 pitch strike on the outside corner. It's been interesting, hasn't it? We went into this World Baseball Classic with some names like Pudge Rodriguez and Pedro Martinez. Those guys who were looking for a job. Gonzalez, nobody knew a lot about him. You're talking about
Sidney Ponson.
Sidney Ponson. Yeah. People who have found some work along the way. As a result, Ponson's going to Kansas City. Pudge Rodriguez signed the deal with the Astros. Pedro Martinez is still waiting. Grounded down to third base. Ooh, look out. Mora up in the chin area that time, and the tag will be put on. One away.
You know, Miguel Cabrera came up in the shortstop. Then he was moved to third, and because his body got so much bigger, they had to move him to first. Boy, he is really struggling right now with his footwork. I mean, just take a look at that throw there. That's right on the money. You put your right foot on the bag, you stretch with your left foot, and you don't need that collision. You don't need the tag. He's just not comfortable at all at that new position.
We were talking between innings about maybe what you do is you hire somebody, a good glove first baseman, to coach him.
Well, and there's, to me, none better to coaching than a guy they've got on the staff for Team Venezuela right now. There's the big cat, Andres Galarraga. I mean, his footwork and his hands, you might not be able to teach the hands, but the footwork can be improved.
First base has become a problem in the World Baseball Classic. USA does not have a first baseman. Maybe the big cat ought to go out there play for the U.S. tomorrow. DeRosa, apparently, Davy Johnson's decided is going to play first. He's not a first baseman at all, but that's about the only choice they really have left. So he'll be at first for the U.S. against Japan. That ball blooped to short and a base hit. Young So Kim delivers a single. He's had 2 singles, a double, and has walked 4 times up and 4 times on.
First baseman number 52, Tae-Kyun Kim.
Look at this. Even with an 8-1 lead, he continues to manage like it's a tied ball game. And what I love about it is that it's been reflected in the way his team has played.
Young Wook Lee will come on to run. What a performance by Young Soo Kim. 3 hits and a walk. Young Wook Lee, the base runner. 1 down, 1 on. An 8-1 lead for South Korea, and they have out-hit Venezuela 8-6 in the ball game. 3 RBI homer by Chu, a 2 RBI homer by Tae-Kyun Kim. And that is taken inside by Kim. His home run came in the 2nd inning. He also has singled and scored 2 for 3 in the game.
I'll tell you another thing about him. I've seen him knocked down a couple times in this classic. It doesn't bother him at all.
Very aggressive at the plate. That's a strike to him. 1-1.
Take a look at his posture there, and he doesn't have the leg kick and all of the things that you see a lot of times. I mean, he's a big bodied, big strong guy. Look at how he locks that chin in on that left shoulder. I love that. You know what I describe it. I mean, when we teach pitching, you talk to a guy, if he's flying open too soon with that front shoulder, keep your chin and your shoulder together a little bit longer. You think about shooting a gun. I mean, it's almost like, that shoulder is like the sight on the gun.
Runner goes. Hernandez, good throw, not in time, and another ball gets away, but the runner will not advance. Stolen base for Lee. Has there been a button push by In-Sik Kim, the manager of South Korea, that hasn't worked in this class?
Well, he's been perfect. He's been perfect with the lineup. You put a guy in the number 3 spot that you think can get on base. You put a guy in the 4th spot that you think would have some power. You pick the right starting pitcher. You've had a defensive replacement. Now you put in a pinch runner, and he's in scoring position.
And he's done this throughout the tournament. 3-1 the count. 9 for 9 now for South Korea in stolen bases here in the Classic. Japan with 9, South Korea with 9, leading this 09 World Baseball Classic in stolen bases. Now a chance for another RBI with only one away. Down low and a walk. So Zambrano surrenders the free pass.
They've got a chance to score a lot more runs at this point. Felix Hernandez looks to be done for the World Baseball Classic. Francisco Rodriguez at this point done. You won't see him. There'll be a lot of guys that come in for Team Venezuela tonight that did not expect to pitch when this ball game began.
South Korea has scored as many as 14 runs. They had a 14-0 win over China in the first round. They've also, as Rick mentioned, been beaten 14-2 by Japan in the first round. Lee is up. Runners on at first and second base. One down and a one-strike count. So Zambrano here for Venezuela.
Where they are having fun.
Sounds like Harry Belafonte. Deo Lee. 0 for 3 and an RBI. Deo.
I knew what you meant.
Daylight come and we want to go home.
You know what? These fans put you in that kind of mood. And we talk about, you know, what Korea has learned from, you know, United States players and this and that. I think, you know, I mean, fans all around the world can learn from what we've seen in this tournament.
Festive.
Oh.
They come, and I compare it to the Olympics. These fans come and it's constant noise. They never stop. It goes on for a full 9 innings and then some, and they have the best time. We see that in the Caribbean. We see that in Asian baseball.
The cheer squad.
Yeah. 1-2 delivery. Lifted in the air. Will it stay fair? No.
They do not make a mistake. They are absolutely fundamentally sound. I agree with you. I mean, we both thought it's, oh, you can see him try to hold up. It's hooking, going down the line. He didn't take off. But even the third base coach, Rue, was standing on the third base bag in case the call was missed. He was going to be right there to get it corrected. There's not a guy during the course of the game for Korea that is ever out of position.
Almost. 2 on, 1 away, and the count now goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Zambrano to Lee, and that one's a base hit into right field. Abreu coming. Lee will come to the plate. Here's the throw. Hit the cutoff man. RBI single. 9-1 South Korea.
How good do you think their manager feels right now? Huh? Mr. Kim, you did it again. Pushing all the right buttons, putting in the pinch hitter, pinch runners, everything falling into place for Korea, and they look to have a date come Monday night.
Just amazing. And we will get another pinch runner. Jin Young Lee will come on at first base for Da-Ho Lee as a pinch runner.
Well, Gary, here's something you were telling me before the game. You've been following them. I mean, you've done just basically all of their game. They can go 3 deep in the outfield and not lose a thing defensively.
No.
They can go 2 deep on the infield.
They are by far the deepest team with quality starting players. So Victor Zambrano does not have a good inning, as he'll work only a third of an inning. He'll be charged with a couple of hits and a walk as South Korea has extended their lead to 9-1. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, the site of this semifinal game, not far from downtown Los Angeles. Sits up here on the hillside at Chavez Ravine, and you can look out from one side of the ballpark, and that's what you see is downtown LA. literally within walking distance of Dodger Stadium.
Walter O'Malley was an absolute genius when he put all of this together, and how he just kind of set it into the hill up here, and getting to the ballpark, getting out, the access, spectacular. Take a look at this. So many things that I've seen from Team Korea you never see in the big leagues. The guy that's coming into the ball game, you got to get loose. You know, you can't go out on the field. Let's just do it in the dugout.
2 on, 1 away. Out of the bullpen, Granados. John Carlos Granados, a 26-year-old who pitched in the Mexican League, but only in 7 games last year there. A 1-0 count on Choose, delivered a home run in the first inning, a 3-run shot. He has walked and struck out. Granados' pitch will miss. 2-0.
Granados has a 1-0 record in the World Baseball Classic. Not much work, as you mentioned. You see, he's not overpowering. He's basically just a long guy. He's there in case the game gets out of hand. Well, it did.
2-0 count, 9-1 lead South Korea. We were in the 6th inning. In the dirt. The mercy rule that applied up until the semifinals and finals is not in effect. So the lead, no matter how big it gets, this game goes 9. 3-0 count.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I'm not sure.
I mean, if you ask Luis Sojo to be honest.
3-0 delivery. And bear in mind, this is a lose and you're out now. It was double elimination through the first 2 rounds, but now this ball game, the team that loses is gone, and the winner moves on to the final on Monday, and the same true tomorrow when the United States plays Japan. 3-1 pitch, and walked him, and the bases are loaded. Sojo is on his way out.
They may have to resod that route that he's taking right now before the game tomorrow night. He's not done with that trip.
Brought him on to get the out and couldn't do it. So no part of an inning will be pitched there, and a walk responsible for that runner. 9-1 South Korea. The 09 World Baseball Classic coming your way from Dodger Stadium. South Koreans got 5 in the first and have not looked back, extending their lead to 9-1. And we will see the 4th pitcher now for Venezuela.
Victor Moreno, veteran pitcher. He's had some time in the big leagues with a couple of different organizations. You look at the numbers from the tournament. Sinker slider type guy, and you know Venezuela would love to see one good sinker to try to get a ground ball double play and get out of this.
The bases are loaded, only 1 away. Chung Choi is at the plate, and he will take the pitch for a strike. He has not had a hit in this classic.
It's still going wrong. You bring in a reliever, they talk to the catcher, they get the sequence of signs, and he fools the catcher.
Oh,
you got lucky there. Ramon Hernandez called for a fastball, and he threw a breaking ball. Well, you can reverse from a fastball to catch a breaking ball. You can't go the other way.
Choi, no hits in 5 at-bats in the classic. Way back left field, and another one that just misses.
There was no question about the distance. But when you're in the first base dugout here at Dodger Stadium and it's down the left field line, you've got a great look at it. And the excitement was there to begin with, but it soon died down.
They've hit 2 home runs and just missed 2 others. 0-2 delivery. Choi will take that in the dirt. After the first out, Young Soo Kim delivered a single. Pinch runner Young Wook Lee is on and scored. Then a walk, a single, and another walk have loaded the bases up.
You know, it's not even the hits and walks and singles. I mean, when they hit the ball foul, they're hitting it either hard or far.
They're having some quality at bats. They've taken pitches, they've gotten ahead in the count, and then used it to their advantage. 1-2 count. That one in the air, center field. Runner will tag at third. And is going to come home. Long throw by Andy Chavez. Gets away, and the runners will move up. Another error, and another one saved right there by Scootero, backing up the throw to third. Jakum Kim comes across with the 10th run. The ball got away at the plate, and the base runners move up.
You put the speed in there where you need it. Watch Andy Chavez. Boy, you can't do it any better than this. Like to have seen Ramon Hernandez maybe up in the line a little bit more to take the throw at the same time the contact would have happened. He didn't do that. And then you could see there the throw over the head of Mora. That could have compounded the problems.
Error charged on Ramon Hernandez, the catcher, as that ball got away, allowing the base runners to move up. Sacrifice fly and an RBI for Young Choi makes it 10-1.
They're going to appeal here at third to see if he left too early.
Nope. So the sac fly stands. Now there are two in scoring position. Kyungwon Park has had a single, 1 for 3, 1 RBI in the Classic. Moreno's pitch is down low for a ball. This ship was listing right from the first pitch of the ball game for Venezuela. It is now sinking, and they've never been able to get it righted. They just can't get going in this game. Broadcasters from South Korea sending some happy words back home. 1-0 count, 2 down. Park will take the slider for a strike. 1-1.
You don't see any energy when you look out there in the field, and when you think about it, really nothing to get excited about. The one run they've scored was on 3 ground ball base hits. To me, that's been the biggest part of the story, has been the job that Yoon has done on the mound.
This Venezuelan team 6-1. Their only loss to the U.S. 15-6 in the first round. That's why they have the home team advantage in this ball game, but they have not played that way tonight.
Yeah, Gary, and in that ball game, you saw a lot of the same pitchers from the bullpen then that you're seeing tonight.
2-ball, 1 strike count. Runners at second and third. Just missed. And it goes to 3-1. Six batters have been walked by the now 5 pitchers used for Venezuela. 3-1 delivery and another. Each pitcher's walked at least 1. Bases loaded again.
South Korea is just saying, we'll take whatever you want to give us.
Number 9 hitter Ki-hyuk Park, their shortstop, is 0 for 2 and has walked.
How often does that happen? Your number 9 guy with his 4th at bat here in the top of the 6th.
Long innings for South Korea. And a wild pitch. Chance at the plate. Good flip. And they get the out. And there's about the first thing that has gone right for Venezuela in this ball game. Jin Young Lee, who was on at third base, got to go, and he did. Pretty good block of the plate made right there. He couldn't get in as Moreno blocked it. But another 2 runs added and a 10-1 lead, South Korea.
Obviously all Team Korea, but let's take a look at the game recap. It started with the error by Bobby Abreu. The 3-run homer by Chu to dead center. The excitement. Silva frustrated, just wasn't his night. And then Kim down the left field line with a 2-run homer. That made it 7-0, and they just continue to add on.
We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. 10-9-0 for South Korea. 1-6-5 for Venezuela. Every hit Venezuela's had tonight, all 6 of them have been the singles department.
Watch this play here by Moreno. Look at him sacrificing his ankle there. All of a sudden not able to get to the plate. Look at that. He's blocked the tag. I didn't know if that inning was ever going to end.
It's about the only way they seem to be able to get an out is on what would have been a wild pitch otherwise. Both those runs were earned in the inning despite there having been an error. Melvin Mora's had a single RBI, 1 for 2. Most of the team, all but one for South Korea, has been to the plate 4 times, as Rick noted. This is Mora's 3rd time up, and he just pops that one up. He had to reach for it. He got fooled. Kyung Park puts it away. 1 down.
Take a look at the numbers here. Boy, look at the job by Yoon there. He has not walked anybody. Got that early lead. 5 errors, a World Baseball Classic record. Not what you're looking for. And then Kim down there again, doing really what he has done since he was a 19-year-old Rookie of the Year in the Korean League. Here's another part of the story here tonight. I mean, you take a look at the bullpen, a little activity down there now finally. But Korea is able to get players into the game that might not have played had it been close. They're able to use bullpen guys that they won't need if they're able to play in a championship game on Monday. So more and more good news.
Everything about tonight has been solid for them. Bobby Abreu batting at .333 in the Classic, has gone 1 for 2, a single in the ball game tonight. Young, the starter, has been sensational. 22-year-old has been like that all night long. That pitch just like that has kept the hitters off stride.
Changing speeds against what really I thought was the best lineup in the tournament when it began. From top to bottom, there's not an out, and there's depth on the bench for Venezuela.
Wow. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Abreu is gone. 4 strikeouts for Young in the game. 2 away in the 6th inning.
First baseman, number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
You know, he's really kind of pitched in reverse. He's been showing him the fastball early, and now that's the 4th strikeout, as you mentioned. All 4 of the strikeouts have been on off-speed pitches.
He has really mixed them effectively. Cabrera, the fastball. Bear in mind, this Venezuelan team came in with a .309 team average, the best of the Final 4. They had 76 hits coming into the game, and 36 of them had been extra base hits, including 12 home runs. They've gotten all singles tonight, and they're retired in the 6th inning. Choi the play, 1, 2, 3, and this young 22-year-old right-hander for South Korea putting on a show. 10-1. 7th inning here at Dodger Stadium, where South Korea has taken a 10-1 lead in this ball game. An impressive performance by the entire team. And a strike on the inside corner. Ki-Hyuk Park was at the plate when that last out was recorded on the play at the plate. So he'll start over again. Their shortstop, 0 for 2, walked and has reached on an error. Victor Moreno on the mound, line drive second base. Lopez hauls it in, does the tumble, and 1 away. Everybody in this lineup for South Korea has in some way participated as you look at their in-game box score. It's pretty good help all up and down, huh?
Well, you just look at all the guys that have scored runs. I mean, there's 5 guys that have driven in runs, and I love what I'm more impressed with than anything is the defense and the range. Not only them making all the plays, but the range. They make plays that a lot of big league players don't come close to making.
And it has helped them here tonight. 0-1 count, leadoff batter. Young Kyu Lee was moved from center to left field in the ball game. 0 for 3 and a walk and a run scored, batting .250.
the line about you're never as good or never as bad as whatever. You know, Venezuela obviously is not this bad. I'm not sure that Korea, though, cannot perform just like this again when they take the field on Monday night if they're able to get there.
Because everything they're doing is just fundamental baseball. If you can do that, then you can do that night after night.
They throw strikes. That's where it all starts. It all starts on the bump out there. You get a guy with command that if you're an infielder or an outfielder, you anticipate the ball being hit, and you give yourself a chance to make a good play.
1-2 delivery. That's launched into center field for a base hit. Big wide turn made. Chavez will get it back in, and first hit of the ball game for Lee.
Gary, you know, then you add some talent as far as defense is concerned. And then we go back to what we saw in batting practice the last 2 days. Not many of these guys able to even hit the ball out of the park in BP. But every one of them constantly hitting a line drive or hitting a hard ground ball. They have carried that over from batting practice right into this ball game.
10 hits in the game. Young Min-gu, and he will foul it back. He's playing at second base. .267 average in his career in his league play last year.
You want to talk about a comeback? Well, obviously Venezuela, they don't think they can, or they'd be holding the runner on, and obviously Korea doesn't think they can, or they'd be running.
That's kind of late inning, I got you beat that situation. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Young Min-gu, the double, and he is grounded out. He has scored a run in the ball game. Cabrera stays behind the runner. As another interesting sidelight to South Korea's play, there is a question still up in the air as to whether or not the players who have not yet served in the military in South Korea are going to have to serve. It is a law in South Korea that before you're 30, you must put 2 years in the military. There are 4 players on this team who have not done that yet, including Chu, who plays for the Cleveland Indians. So they've got a real interest. During the Olympics and in '06, the players who played for those teams were given exemptions from having to serve. Down low, and the issue has been raised again. The baseball organization KBO of Korea said that they would push for a military exemption if South Korea wins the World Baseball Classic.
Wow.
So there's for 4 of these players on this roster, there's 2 years of military service that may be up for grabs because the government has not yet said whether they will or will not grant exemptions. 3-2 delivery is taken up high. The rule was changed in South Korea in '07 that there would be no further exemptions given. But as the baseball organization has noted, that does not prevent us from going back and asking for the exemption on a situation by situation basis. So that's kind of a sidelight for some of these players. That's a pretty big sidelight. Runners on at first and second base.
It's so much different. You know, you think about these guys playing professional baseball over there in Korea. They don't make the money over there that, you know, you think, oh, well, these guys are set. I mean, you know, they're making the money. No, it's not. I mean, they're, you know, they're just kind of like, we were told that the highest players are, you know, making around 100,000 or something like that. There's a lot of them that make less.
A lot of them that make less.
Yeah.
1-0 count, 1 away. Breaking ball is in for a strike. Lee at the plate. Young-wook Lee, who came on as a pinch runner, is getting his first at bat in the ball game, hitting just 167 in the Classic, and that is taken away for a ball. Carlos Vasquez in the bullpen. Venezuela.
Just thinking about Korea, they'll go to 12-3 combined in '06 and '09. All 3 of the losses to Japan.
Yeah, a team they may yet face again, that they've already faced 4 times in this Classic and split the 4 games. towards second base. Lopez, Scootero, and they turn the double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Here at Dodger Stadium, 7th inning stretch time. The winner goes on, the loser goes home. South Korea 10, Venezuela 1. One side of the scorecard is filled with marks and the other is not.
Yeah, not a whole lot there for Team Venezuela. And we talked in the open about how they offensively had their way. You see the run and the 2 for 2 down at the bottom. Not a whole lot. And particularly the guy there in the cleanup spot, Miguel Cabrera, he came close to putting them back in it, but stands at 0 for 3.
And we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. The starter still out there.
Well,
Min Young.
He's getting stronger.
How about that?
First 3 innings, 53 pitches. The last 3, 31.
Amazing. Carlos Guillen, single. He is 1 for 2 in the ball game. Switch hitter, who is the DH in this game. The longest outing in the World Baseball Classic by a pitcher so far, ironically, Carlos Silva, who started this game for Venezuela. He pitched 7 innings against the Netherlands.
I was there. I saw it.
He gets through this inning, he will equal that. And Silva, who started the game, lasted an inning and a third. 0-2 delivery. Right center field. Warning track. Wall. Goodbye. Home run. There's the long ball they've been looking for all night. Guillen gets his 3rd home run of the Classic. 10-2.
Got to be a great sign for the Detroit Tigers, knowing that this man is healthy. He had to shut it down late in the season a year ago. But he has come back, and as you mentioned, he's not only hit for an average, but he's hit for power.
Their first extra base hit comes here in the 7th inning. The homer by Carlos Guillen. And a 7th hit makes it a 10-2 ball game. It's hard to celebrate your own home run when your club's down by 8.
Yeah, you got a good ball game, and the way this World Baseball Classic has gone, everybody would have been out of the dugout waiting on you.
Maglio Ordonez hitting just 192 in the Classic. He is hit into a double play and grounded out 0 for 2 in the ball game. Young with a 2-1 delivery to him, chases a high fastball, and it goes to 2-2 on Ordonez.
Everybody's late on that fastball now, even though it's only at 89 miles an hour, because he has set all of that up with that good off-speed stuff. This is scary here. Lewin is really struggling. He's close to walking a guy now.
That's scary. 3-2 delivery, and he did.
Yeah, it's
tank may be getting close to empty, huh?
What a performance. Same kind of thing that he did in the Olympics for Korea, helping them to that gold medal, and the same thing that he has done here.
Bullpen is ready if In-Sik Kim, the manager, wants to make a change.
Maybe the only reason he don't is that the guy at home plate has hit 2 ground balls to shortstop tonight.
Yeah. Jose Lopez, who's had a great Classic, hitting .455, has a runner on at first base and nobody out.
At ball 1. That's something that we really haven't seen at all tonight, and now we've seen it.
He's just running out of gas. However, played by Park, they'll get the force out. So he's hit 3 ground balls to short. They get Ordonez 1 away.
I thought it was the end of the night. He finally walked the guy. The first guy he's walked in the tournament. But what makes me think I know more than their manager?
12 ground balls, and the young man's coming out. And what a performance. The 22-year-old who came in having surrendered nothing in 9 2/3 innings has pitched 6 1/3 innings in this ball game against a potent major league loaded lineup. Limit him to 2 runs on 7 hits. Well, we're going to see a closer come on for South Korea and a veteran. He is 30 years old. Tae-Young Chung.
Well, the submariner, take a look at him. It'll remind you a little bit of Byung-Hyun Kim. You know, just thinking about how well they've done this year, you'd think a lot of the guys that helped him in 06 would have done it now. Well, Jae-So was 2-0. He's not here. Chan-Ho Park had 3 saves. He's not here. And Byung-Hyun Kim was 1-0 back in 06 for Korea, and they have replaced all of those guys, and looks like they're headed to the finals.
We are in the bottom half of the 7th inning. A run in for Venezuela on the home run by Guillen. A runner on at first base. Ramon Hernandez 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice in the game. Hernandez hitting at .353 with a couple of home runs here in the Classic. And takes it down low for a ball. Hernandez with 5 RBIs. Outfield deep on him. Infield will play for 2. Floats that one up there, and it's going to miss up high. Little butterfly pitch.
Yeah, that kind of cartoon type frisbee that well, Byung-Hyun Kim, we saw a lot of that from him, and a really good one at times. You know, but just thinking, these guys with an off day tomorrow.
Exactly. Regroup.
You watch the pitch count with your relievers, they're all available.
2-0 count. Got that one in there. Chung is 30 years old. He threw the final ground ball that got a double play when they won the Olympic gold medal in Beijing. In his home league, he went 4-3 with a 2.67 ERA. He had 20 saves, 50 strikeouts in 60 innings. So he is a genuine closer. Ramon Hernandez will take a strike call. Can't believe it. 2-ball, 2-strike count as he turns away from home plate umpire Ron Gulper.
Ramon's got to feel like the whole world's against him. I mean, he's been behind home plate. That ball down a little bit. Yeah, usually. Had a base hit taken away from him earlier on a call at first base. Just been one of those nights.
2-2 count. Lopez on at first base, being held. That's ripped into left field for a base hit. Went down and got that pitch. And there are 2 on with 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
He has just had a tremendous tournament. I mean, he's done a great job behind the plate. Take a look here. He swung the bat. That ball is the same kind of pitch. If he called it on the last one, you've got to protect. Even though he thought it was ball, it was down. He went down and got it. And boy, in that ball game where he hit that home run to give him the 2-0 lead, that was huge against Puerto Rico.
Ramon Hernandez on with that base hit, which is the 8th of the ball game for Venezuela. 2 on, 1 out. Scootero. One of the great joys of doing these ball games on an international basis is that we at times have some great emails from people all around the world. And Rick from one of our favorite bars in China, Hank, who has been a regular watching games over the years.
That's my guy.
Sent us an email. He said, I'm here watching the baseball classic. Don't know if you still take mail, but I'll give it a try. Well, Hank, it worked. Hank's got a bar in China's where he's watching, and he said Is there any chance, talking to Rick, is there any chance you'll be in Chicago for the first 2 weeks of April? Would love to meet you and buy you an adult beverage and possibly get a signed jersey from my bar in China. The answer to that is?
Yeah. They asked me about a month ago to throw out the first pitch opening day.
That's great.
At Wrigley, Hank.
That is great.
That's exciting.
That is really good. And that is in there for a strike. So, Hank, look for Rick in Chicago.
Well, and you know, they've been around for a while now. You know, he's always got a big group of fans there pulling for usually one team or the other.
Yep.
Outstanding.
1 ball, 2 strike count. First pitch at Wrigley. That's great. That's great honor.
That's huge. It's
good for you.
Been a long year. Thank you.
Yep. 1-2 delivery, and Scootero will take it outside. I also wanted to say hi to the bar that's located on West 32nd Street in Koreatown in New York City. Yeah. Somehow they're watching.
Well, sure. Yeah.
2 ball, 2 strike count. They got a big crowd there watching the ball game in New York City.
Oh, boy.
Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball International, which broadcasts all throughout the postseason, and the World Baseball Classic Network here. It's amazing. It's so much fun to hear from so many great people who are enjoying the games in so many different places. 3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 down. Scootero's had 2 singles. First and second occupied.
Such a great crowd here tonight. You got to feel like it's going to continue to build too.
USA Japan tomorrow.
There'll be more tomorrow, and then it'll be packed on Monday. That's my guess.
Championship game Monday night. 3-2, and he reached for it.
Frustration.
Center fielder number 47.
You know, Scootero's really had the great night. I mean, he's been on base, he scored a run, and then they're just being frustrated right there. Look at this, boy. 10-2. They're still managing like it's 2-2. I love it.
Well, part of what you were talking about, they want to make sure with this big lead they don't eat up any of their bullpen guys they might need in a championship game.
Absolutely.
So they will make a pitching change here with 2 down, runners on at first and second. 10-2 South Korea. We'll have a chance to see yet another of these young pitchers 4 days away from being 22. Young Jin Ryu.
I'll be honest with you, this is one of the kids I wanted to see. He picked up the win in a decisive game of the Olympic gold medal. You see the power number there, you know, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Big, tall left-hander with good stuff.
He has been a strikeout pitcher in his young career. He was 14-7 in league play last year, 143 strikeouts and 165 innings. Andy Chavez will face him. Runners on at first and second base, 2 down, 7th inning. Lopez, the lead runner at second. Ramon Hernandez on at first base. And a left-hander brought on to face the lefty.
Gary, one of those spots that you and I talk about a lot where as a manager you bring in a guy where he has the best opportunity for him to succeed. Well, you bring in your left-handed pitcher, and 2 of the first 3 guys that he is due to face are left-handed hitters.
Only needs to get 1 here to get out of the inning. Takes that to left field on the inside out swing. Lee is there and puts it away. So we've completed 7. Carlos Guillen led the inning off with a home run. Couple of hits. 2 are left on base. 10-2 South Korea. A very tough night for Venezuela as they've given up the 10 runs, 10 hits, but they've made 5 errors in this ball game. The Dominican Republic had 3 errors against the Netherlands, a team they lost to twice, a powerhouse team, much like this team from Venezuela. Just kind of inexplicable. Carlos Vasquez out of the bullpen.
Well, this is their top left-handed reliever. He's a situational type guy, but he's not facing a left-handed hitter.
Comes on to start an inning here in the 8th. Tak Young Kim has continued to be phenomenal for the South Korean team. His 3rd home run of the Classic, 2 RBIs, singled and scored his first time up, got a walk in the 6th and scored. So he's 2 for 3 in the ball game.
Well, you know what this tells me about him? With all the other changes they made, where they pinch run for people and they made defensive replacements, this guy, he's not only got a Gold Glove, but he earned it.
They want him in. At first base position, so important to the rest of your infield defense.
Gary, we've seen it. We've seen both sides of it tonight with Cabrera struggling.
We talked about if your first baseman is struggling defensively, the rest of your infield, Rick, gets nervous. Every throw's got to be perfect. They hesitate. They don't play free and loose. Center field, shy of the warning track. How about a step?
I really think that's been the biggest change in baseball over the last 15 years. Is team defense used to always be what goes on up the middle. Turn the double play. Center fielder go get it. To me, it's more important to have a first baseman that can handle the glove. I mean, that throw in the dirt, that he can come up with it. You kind of look around. I mean, you know, the champions the last several years with Florida, it was Derek Lee. You think about Boston when they had Minkiewicz come in late. You think about Boston 2 years ago, Youkilis went all year without an error. The Cubs playing so well, Derek Lee is there now. It's just, I agree with you. It starts there. And when you look at the other side of the coin.
Jin Young Lee puts it in the stands.
Think about the Yankees a year ago. First time in all those years not making the playoffs and this and that. Joe Torre left the Yankee, came here. They talk about, you know, but let's talk about their first. They tried Jason Giambi at first base.
Yeah, a designated hitter.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, Cano and Jeter and A-Rod, they say they had off years defensively. Well, let's think about what you said, where it started.
Yeah, it's an underrated position on the field at first base. I agree with you. I think next to the catcher, that position at first base is vital in controlling a ball game.
Well, there's no question the catcher. It starts there. I mean, having a pitcher with confidence in him, man on third, knowing you can bounce anything you want. He's going to keep it in front of you. It won't cost you a run.
Jin Young Lee, and he'll take the pitch inside. Lee getting an opportunity at the plate. He was one of those ball players inserted into the lineup middle of the ball game. 1 home run, 7 RBIs, 333 in the Classic. Wails away on that one and is gone. 2 down. Vasquez gets the K. 43,378 the attendance tonight here at Dodger Stadium, and I think that's a good deal higher than a lot of people thought was going to exist for this game, with many looking ahead to tomorrow. But these fans have come out to support countries where they have an affiliation with. That's what we've seen with the Japanese, the Koreans, the Dominicans. All of them have found support wherever the games have been played, and it's made a very big difference in attendances in different ballparks.
Well, and I just think too that there's a lot going on. It's a weekend. It's a Saturday night.
That got him.
It was an off-speed pitch. The crowd's going to boo, but there was no intent whatsoever there. Looked like it was a slider that just got away from him. And just take a look. See how he's sitting down and away, and how the ball had that tilt to it. Nothing meant there. But you know what, too? It wasn't but just a few days ago when these fans were sure that their team was going to be playing.
Exactly.
So to put that many people into a ballpark with that little notice, not many things can do that.
U.S. and Japan tomorrow. That ought to be a heck of a ball game. Daisuke Matsuzaka is going to be making the start for Japan, Roy Oswalt on the mound for USA.
What a matchup.
Choi will foul that one off. He has gone the distance at third base. RBI sac fly, reached on an error and grounded out.
Let's take a look at that matchup that you talked about. Daisuke, 5 appearances in the World Baseball Classic. He is 5-0, 2-0 this year. Roy Oswalt, since 2001, when he made his major league debut, no one in baseball with more wins than he.
Ought to be one heck of a ball game. Japan has pitched just out of their minds. Their ERA has been right around 1, and it's 1.2 going into the ball game. The U.S. has a 6.18 ERA overall. They've not had some of the help out of the pen that they wanted, but the U.S. has been able to score some runs, hitting over 300. 1-2 delivery is down low, but it will be all about the starters in the ball game tomorrow night. Eight o'clock Eastern time for the second semifinal game tomorrow night. And on the fist, foul back. It stays at 2-2. Rick and I will be right back here along with our great crew to bring it to you. It'll be a rocking house again tomorrow. Vasquez, the 5th pitcher used. I'm going to take it back. 6th pitcher used in the ball game for Venezuela. Choi will swing and miss on that one, and that'll be a couple of strikeouts in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a base runner left on. We go to the bottom of the 8th. South Korea moving in on that final game Monday night. Back here at Dodger Stadium, we'll get a new pitcher coming on as Ryu worked the last inning and will be out of there. And Jung Yuk Jong, a 30-year-old veteran, will come on to do the pitching.
Take a look at his numbers there. 1-0. Has not allowed an earned run as of yet in 3 games, 5 2/3 of an inning. So, you know, he's a guy, if need be, can go more than just the 1 inning and possibly finish the game tonight.
Venezuela down to a few precious outs left to go. 10-10-0 for South Korea. 2-8-5. 5 errors for Venezuela in this ball game. It'll be Mora, Abreu, and Cabrera due up here in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
You know, Gary, just thinking about the tournament when it started, and the Dominican, we saw the numbers there, and Puerto Rico. You know, really quite an accomplishment for Venezuela to get here, for all the teams to get here. You obviously leave disappointed. I think maybe even more so than if you lose earlier in the tournament.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you get out here and it's all everybody in the city's talking about.
And for Venezuela in particular, they ended up being the Caribbean representative. And there were, I was looking at some of the newspapers from the Caribbean today, and it was all about the weight of the world. They carry the Caribbean baseball history on their shoulders for today. And there was a lot of that. These players feel that because they know how it is back home and how much it means to the fans. So there's a real representation, and in this case even more than just your country going on for Venezuela. 2-ball 1-strike delivery on the way, and Moreno will foul that one back.
How about Cuba not being in the finals?
Did you see what Fidel said? Well, they said it was Fidel who said it. That he actually said they didn't want, they being the federation, didn't want Cuba to be playing in the finals, but also said it's our fault. He was quoted in the papers saying it's our fault. We weren't ready. We had not prepared properly. We didn't get our roster where we needed it to be. Mora goes down. Cuba voted by the International Baseball Federation in the first rankings ever as the #1 team in international play. Now that's based on these international tournaments we've been talking about, including the World Baseball Classic. So they're probably going to fall out of that ranking. The South Korean team or nation was ranked 3rd. Those standings just came out a month ago. They have never had standings issued by the International Baseball Federation before. First time they've done it. So they're trying to draw world attention to international play. 0-1 count. Bobby Abreu. Abreu is single, 1 for 3. One home run, 3 RBIs, .318 batting average in the Classic.
Bobby Abreu does not get fooled very often. I mean, we've been watching him for years, a career 300 hitter, but he has not been able to pick up the split-fingered fastball that he's seen the last 2 at-bats.
Hyun-Yuk Jung, 0-2, gets a slow roller. He's got to get to first and can't handle it. Goes off Abreu and rows down the line. He will go to third base maybe here. Gets up, stops as the throw comes into the cutoff man, the shortstop.
You know, for me, really, it was the pitcher's fault here. The only way to make this play, and I can go back 1976 when I was on this mound, you've got to go get the ball. You've got to go get the ball. Late at night, Gary, the dew gets into the air, the grass gets wet, and take a look. This ball probably wouldn't have gotten off the grass. I don't know if it would have gotten it. It started to slow down and slow down. Instead of going right to the bag, you've got to go right to the ball. And all you do there is grab your glove and just kind of sweep it to the first baseman on the bag.
Shattered back ground ball to third. Choi Up will go to first after holding the runner. Miguel Cabrera is retired 0 for 4. They're going to credit Abreu with a single and an error charge to the first baseman. That's a tough call. Charged with an error on the flip, which actually wasn't that bad. First error committed by South Korea in the ball game.
I agree with you. That's not an error on the first baseman.
No.
Here, let me just slip this to you. I mean,
here, catch this.
That's all it was. It was a flip from 15 feet.
Carlos Guillen, a home run in the 7th inning, his 3rd of the Classic, providing the 2nd run. The other one, a single in the 3rd. That's been it. Only 5 base runners left stranded, 3 in scoring position by Venezuela in this ball game. Ironically, they've almost caught up to South Korea in hits. It's 10-9 in favor of the South Koreans, but whole different look. And those hits were strung together in the extra base hits.
Well, just think about going home with Felix Hernandez, Francisco Rodriguez, Armando Galarraga. You got to win or you go home, and none of them see any action.
1-1 strike in the inside corner.
I mean, Silva was good up to this point, but he hadn't faced anything. He faced Italy and the Netherlands. Those teams, they're challenged offensively.
Absolutely.
Let me put it that way.
1-2 on the way to Guillen, and he's gone. So John gets the strikeout. He's got 2 of them. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on base. The story all night for these batters from Venezuela. They've been looking at pitches like that. It is 10-2. We go to the 9th. South Korea leading. 9th inning. Gary Thorne, Rick Sutcliffe, and our crew here at Dodger Stadium as South Korea is 3 outs away from moving to the final game on Monday. 5 runs in the first, 2 in the second, and then just didn't look back. Built that lead and had a great start from Suk-Min Young, the 22-year-old who 2 runs, 7 hits over 6 in the 3rd. Chung into the bullpen, 3rd of an inning, 1 hit, and Rue went 2/3, 1 hit. Jong on the mound now with a couple of strikeouts. They've pitched exceedingly well. 2-0 delivery and a strike taken.
Well, there's your MVP, Yoon, and what a tremendous job he did. My co-MVP, my supporting actor, is standing at home plate right now.
Park takes it to short. Scootero.
He can ground out to short all he wants. Because I'm telling you what, we talked about in the open. The first thing I wanted to mention was the offense of Venezuela. and how deep they were. There's no outs. There's not only an average, but there's power. There's a slugging percentage. And that man right there helped his young pitcher not only get through that lineup, but he's helped the bullpen get outs. And you can just see. You can see how important he is to that team, even though he doesn't swing it.
Working behind the plate, the veteran catcher. He's out of there for the first out of the inning. Ki-Hyuk Park reached on an error, grounded out, walked, and is lined out. He's batting just 130 in the World Baseball Classic. They give up the offense for the gloves at the bottom part of the order, and will foul that one away.
And usually along with the glove, they bring some speed in.
Yeah.
There's something that these guys, if they don't hit for a high average, when they get on base, they find a way to get into scoring position.
They are 9 for 9 in stolen bases in the Classic, with 1 in this game. They haven't had to run in this game. Backhanded, nice play, Cabrera, and gets it there in time for the out. Vasquez covering.
Part of that footwork that we talked about here. He's had great range. I mean, he came up as a shortstop. He's played third. Then he turns and makes a nice little toss. It helps having a tall pitcher. Knows exactly what to do there. But you just see him at times just seem kind of out of sorts, like his feet just aren't in the right spot. It'll improve.
Young Q Lee, the leadoff batter. 6th time he has come to the plate in this ball game. He's got a single, a walk, and a run scored. Hitting .308 now in the Classic.
I'm just glad to see he's okay.
Yeah, boy, he took a knock in the back of the head, hit by a pitch that hit just below his helmet. Had to come out of the ball game. They were worried about a concussion problem. Thankfully, there wasn't one, and he's right back in the lineup. That happened in San Diego.
That scared me watching that.
1-1 delivery to him. Tried to chop that Ichiro style. This one hurt from a long way off. Just the sound of it. He got up and left under his own power. And takes the off-speed pitch right after we show that inside.
And how about these fans? They all know it.
They'd give it a little hoot there.
They knew what was going on there.
2-2 delivery on the way. We'll foul that one away. Two balls, 2 strikes. They play this game here in the top of the 9th inning. South Korea does, same way they played it in the top of the 1st. Give up nothing.
Okay. You know, you added a little incentive to me. I mean, for these guys, sure, they play hard and they always have, and they're fun to watch. But if I had 2 years of military service waiting on me, I'd be on the edge of my seat broadcasting.
Right back to the mound. A terrible throw made, but Vasquez had plenty of time, and Lee is retired. So a 1-2-3 inning. Venezuela's got 3 outs to work with as we go to the bottom of the 9th. South Korea wins this. They go to the final on Monday. They lead it 10-2. Jungkook John will stay on to try and finish it up. Came on in the last half inning, gave up just 1 single. Ordonez, Lopez, and Hernandez do up.
You know, it's fun kind of managing along with the manager for Korea here with all that he's done. Left-handers, you know, coming in to get left-handed hitters out. It took 2 pitches. Right-hander got 2 right-handers out back in the 7th, and liked what he saw in the 8th. Mr. Kim, as we get a shot of him there, running back out there in the 9th.
Kim managed the first World Baseball Classic, 3rd place finish. They had a 6-1 record in the inaugural event. He played baseball in South Korea professionally.
Pitcher.
Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of, Gary? And when I first got to the big league in 1976, he was my manager here with the Dodgers, Walter Alston. This guy is a big, strong guy. He's a quiet guy, you know, that silent type thing. He doesn't say a whole lot.
Got him.
But talking with a lot of the players about, you know, does he have a lot of meetings? No. He had one meeting after they got blown out by Japan. And he brought everybody in the trainer's room and he said, you know what? It's one game. Doesn't matter. 3-2, 2-1, 14-2. It doesn't matter. It's one game. Let's get ready to come back out and play well tomorrow.
And the unorthodox things that he does in the game. When we were in San Diego, I asked some of the players about, do you get flustered? Does it bother you? And they all just laughed and went, bother us? He's a winner. He helps us win. Whatever he does, we know he's doing because it's for our own good, for the team's own good. So, I mean, he's got all the guys on his side. We'll get a pitching change here.
You know, just Gary, looking at what's going on right now. The outfielders out there playing catch. Doesn't happen during the big leagues. And you don't see any of that. But you know what? Another thing was watching their infield practice. And they take it like it's a game situation. You never see that during the regular season of the big league. And another thing they practiced was the coach hitting fungos off the wall in all different places. Now, most of these guys have never even been to Dodger Stadium, have no idea. But watching the caroms, how the ball goes off, and then these guys measuring the distance to hit their cutoff man, every one of them throwing at 100%. And like we talked about, they went through 3 shifts of the outfield, 2 shifts of the infielders, with everybody trying to outdo the other guy, making a better throw. I loved it. I mean, I don't usually find myself watching infield, but
yeah, I know. But you do watch them because it's fun to watch, and they have fun doing it. They practice, as you said, virtually every situation you can be in the infield. I mean, they do I've never seen the short flips or double plays that they practice intentionally. Then they'll move back and do the long throws in a regular position, second and short, going to one another in a double play situation.
I apologize for not knowing his name, but the guy that was hitting the fungos, I gave him a stand. I applauded him when he walked off, and then a lot of the reporters and everything started applauding too, because he would stand at home plate and he would hit pop-ups down the third base line. He'd hit him down the first base line. He'd hit him out in the middle where the center fielder and the 2 infielders would have to come together, and they'd have to call each other off. And he could constantly hit them for the catchers to come back to the net and try to. I mean, this guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, they are fun to watch, and boy, they're on their way to Monday night. It looks like one down here in the 9th inning, bottom half, 10-2 lead, South Korea. And Chang Young-Ling will come out of the bullpen to pitch. Jose Lopez, who is 0 for 3, will stand in. Jung went an inning and a third. He gave up just 1 hit and struck out 3.
Gotta like what you saw there.
Nothing off their bullpen.
You know what you get from you get a lot of different looks. You're going to see a little submarine type thing, but not as low as the guy before him. You get a left-hander that comes in, a big hard-throwing left-hander with a good slider.
Lim is a veteran. He's 32 years old. Comes in with a strike. They have consistently done that. Whoever it's been, throw strikes.
Take a look at this. At 91 miles an hour. There's the deception. There's the power in the legs, and he drops down. And the next thing you know, it's by you.
He is a South Korean who last year played in Japan as a closer. Fouls that one off. He was 5th in the Japanese league with 33 saves in his first season there. Professional 8. 104 wins, 66 losses, and 168 saves. Pitching in South Korea. Over 1,400 innings worked. 32 years old. Lopez outside for a ball, 1-2.
Lopez has really had his first off night offensively.
.435 classic average for him as he stands in right now. He's been sensational. 2 homers, 4 RBIs. but an 0 for 3 so far in this ball game. 1-2. Playable left center. Lee. Young Q Lee puts it away, and there are 2 down.
Kind of sums up their night right there. That's a great shot, guys. Frustrating, really, in every phase of the game. They got out-pitched. They got out-hit. Better defense by Korea. You know, I think
pretty much covers the game, doesn't it?
Well, and Luis Sojo would even mention that the other manager was better than he was tonight.
2 down. Aaron Hernandez.
Wasn't much for him to manage, but it just seemed like it was more of the same coming out of his bullpen, which was bad, and more good just kept coming out of the Korean bullpen.
1-0 count. Hernandez a single in the ball game, 1 for 3. 1-1. This will end the 5-game win streak. Venezuela will lose just their 2nd game of this classic. They have not won an international tournament since 1945. That's not going to end here. 1-1 delivery. Taken up high for a ball. And in the first meeting where the professionals of South Korea played the professionals from Venezuela, South Korea is going to get the win. First time ever. The amateurs have played, as we mentioned earlier, a couple of times in past years, but this is the first time professionals from these 2 countries have met on the diamond. 2-1 delivery. Kim. Ball game over. 10-2 South Korea.
Look at the excitement there. And the outcome has really been known since the top of the 2nd inning. Probably a little bit of disbelief with a lot of those young guys out there. All they've ever done is read and watch on television the Abreu's and the Maglios and the Carlos Guillans. But what started out as 16 teams and 39 games has turned into 3 teams with 2 games and 1 champion to be determined.
Congratulations to South Korea. They move to the final on Monday night to face the winner of tomorrow night's game between USA and Japan. And a most impressive performance in this game, and probably one of the great performances pitching wise we got to see tonight. A 22-year-old right-hander, Sek Min Young.
Well, 14 wins during his regular season. He started the night out with a strikeout of Enrique Chavez. Then he got on a 3-2 pitch Cabrera going to end the 1st inning. And then when he needed the ground ball, he was able to get it, knowing that his defense would take it from there. There's a double play turned on Maglio. And then there's the strikeout, throw him out. Scootero caught in no man's land there. You see the congratulations, and now
look at this.
Isn't that awesome?
They line up to salute their fans who are on that first base side.
You know what? And I said something down in Miami that I'd like to see happen. It happens in a lot of other sports. Why can't everybody come out in the field and shake hands right now? I hope that in 4 years, when they change, they're going to tweak some other thing. There's nothing wrong with everybody shaking hands out there, and both teams should be congratulated for being here.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. If you can do it after a hockey game, you can do it after a baseball game.
That is a perfect point, Gary. And you know what? You stop and think. I mean, it's an honor for these guys to be selected to be here. That's an accomplishment in its own.
2009 World Baseball Classic semifinals is going to continue tomorrow night right here at Dodger Stadium. The 06 defending champion Japan will face Team USA. That will be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we will have a pitching matchup. You never know, but this should be one of those classic matchups.
We've got a couple of guys that have just dominated. You look at 17 wins for the Astros for Oswald. They were a bad team. Red Sox always good. Dice K won a world championship a couple of years ago, got them back to Game 7 a year ago. Will try to do exactly the same thing. It's not Game 7, but it's the finals. If they can win tomorrow night, Japan will be back to defend their title.
Though the winner of that game will face the winner of this game, which is South Korea, and that will be Monday night in the championship game to begin at 9:30 Eastern. And that will be some matchup, whoever wins the ball game tomorrow. So remember, check your local listings. The World Baseball Classic. Baseball is spoken here. And tonight, speaking it loudly with South Korea as they come away with a 10-2 win, eliminating Venezuela. For Rick Sutcliffe and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. We thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed our broadcast here. The 16 teams that have now dropped down, as Rick said, to just 3 remaining. And for South Korea, maybe the surprise team positively. The Venezuela tonight with the errors that were put up. The surprise team on the negative side of it will not be happy about what they showed here tonight. We'll see you right back here at Dodger Stadium tomorrow night. Until then, enjoy the views of games played here tonight and the one tomorrow. You don't want to miss that matchup. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow night.